What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is your host, Adam Perez. I'm back once again with a brand new live episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC television, and movie news, streaming for you guys live today over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. We got 6 incredible topics we're going to be breaking down for you guys today. Some honorable mentions, some live viewer questions towards the end of the show. But sit back, relax. We're going to talk all about it today, guys. We'll see you on the other side. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of A-Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC television, and movie news, streaming live for you guys today. Topics, 6 incredible topics we're going to be breaking down for you guys today, as we've got some Spider-Punk news for you guys. We got some DCU updates, some One Piece stuff to certainly look forward to as well. We got a lot certainly going on here today, along with technical difficulties, to certainly say the least. So I do apologize to you guys if for some reason it's a little janky. I'm trying to work through it right now, but we'll see how today's show goes. Stuart, how's it going, man? How you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. And by the way, everyone listening, if there's like a slight delay in us like talking with each other, it's been going on like kind of in the beginning of trying to set everything up. So there may be like a delay between us like in conversation. So just bear with us to the best of your abilities. But yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a pretty chill week for the first time in a while at the movie theaters. It's I mean, Weapons is doing really good, but besides that, a lot of the other movies are slowing down. So yeah, we're starting to hit that kind of like slow period, like the big hype from Fantastic Four, Superman, and Jurassic World have all kind of like started to die down. So it's kind of like going back to just kind of a steady pace there.
Yeah, no, I feel I was just thinking to myself, it's been a minute since I think the last movie I saw was Fantastic Four. I've been wanting to see Together. I've been wanting to see Weapons. I've been wanting to see Naked Gun. I just haven't had the opportunity to go to the movies yet to certainly check them out. I think my girlfriend wants to see like all 3 of those. So now I'm like scrambling, trying to figure out how we're going to make time to even see all these movies together.
I hear Together is a great like couples therapy type of movie. I saw it myself. I absolutely loved it. But I hear people like kind of coming out of the movie and going like, man, I feel like my girlfriend and I are just a stronger couple after having seen this movie.
All right, mentally noted. Maybe that'll be the first one we go and see. But yeah, there's some good movies out there that I'm really interested to check out. I just rewatched Barbarian last night.
Ooh, yes,
to go ahead and get ready for Weapons. I know it's not like a sequel or anything like that, but I just wanted to get myself ready for Zach Cregger stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more about Zach Cregger later on today too.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this though. I absolutely loved Weapons. Apparently I seem to be the only person who thought the first 2 acts was a comedy. And it didn't really turn into a horror movie for me, at least until the 3rd act, which had me on the edge of my seat because holy crap, when they ramp it up. And then the climax kind of goes back to its comedy roots. But it's
really
amazing.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I have heard some people talk a little bit back. Not going to say just about how off the wall and kind of crazy twists and turns this movie certainly is. So the way that you talk about it, I'm like, okay, there's something here. So yeah, I'm looking really forward to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, look, let us know your thoughts as we go through all of these topics. Remember, at the end of the day, these are simply my A+ opinions, but I always certainly want to know yours. What did you guys think about these topics? Let us know your opinions. We certainly want to hear your thoughts. Feel free to drop them in the live chat as we are currently live right now. And we always love showing some love to people that are in the live chats with us today. Enrique Perez said he just saw the first trailer for live action Lilo and Stitch. It's going to be dropping this September.
on Disney
Oh,
Plus.
it's gonna Disney Plus. Yeah, it's gonna be on Disney Plus in September. Also, during the Disney Junior Let's Play event at Disneyland, it's confirmed that Pixar is joining with Disney Junior, that a new Cars series titled Cars Lightning Racers is coming in 2027. All right, that's just more television for my son to watch. Great.
Ooh. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
I think we clicked at the same time. But yeah, no, that's actually really surprising. Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy reprising their roles. They must this must be like a big budget for a Disney Junior show.
First look at the upcoming One Piece live action. Yeah, we'll talk about that show. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie will be arriving in the US movie theaters just days away, honoring its 35th anniversary. Very cool. Looking forward to that. Ram Jam. What's up, Ram Jam? How's it going? Good to see you in here as always, buddy. Just saw new images of Noob Sabat from Mortal Kombat 2 movie. Yeah, they highlighted him briefly in the trailer towards the end, I think. But yeah, there is a new look image of Noob Sabat. I believe Collider.com released it. Y-Arc in the house. What's up? I think the trailers are coming at New York Comic-Con. Probably, yeah. I tried to apply for New York Comic-Con. I didn't get accepted this year, so a little bit of a bummer, but it's okay. Maybe next year. Marcelino, what's up, Marcelino? Hey guys, there's a new movie called Primitive War that's coming out soon, where Vietnam soldiers fight dinosaurs. It seems like dumb fun. I saw somebody reacting to Primitive War, but the trailer was so boring, and I eventually stopped looking at it. It looked like it was one of those low budget sort of like collaborative movies, like let's just take dinosaurs and soldiers and put them together, and like on a low budget sort of thing. But I'll have to check it out for myself. Frankie, what's up, Frankie? Morning, all. Love the Nightwing shirt, Adam. Yeah, love me some Dick Grayson, man. I love Dick. Nobody chop that up, please. Nobody edit that to
do it. Someone do it. No, I'm kidding.
I'll chop up that sound bite. Marcelino, Dean Cain said he's signing up to be an ICE agent. Yeah.
If there was any celebrity that was going to do it to get attention, it would be Dean Cain. And I say to get attention because I feel like that's like anytime he does anything nowadays, it's because like he's kind of become a self-parody. Like there was this joke in Family Guy, I remember, like this is early 2000s Family Guy, where Peter Griffin makes a joke about Dean Cain and does the cutaway gag. You see Dean Cain like in a park and he's just like reading a magazine. Some dude's like sitting right next to him. He looks at the dude and it just kind of goes, "Hey, is that Dean Cain?" Oh my gosh, everywhere I go. And I swear that's actually become who he is today.
It does make me curious, like how out of work he must be. Like how badly do you need the money, bro? Like it really boggles my mind too that you are Superman and you don't see the parody or like the irony and what it is that you're signing up for right now, dude. Like I don't get. And look, he seems like a great guy. Like I saw him at Fan Expo Dallas at the panels and stuff, and he comes across as a cool, funny type guy. I don't know him personally, but I'm like, dude, you were literally shattering the image that I had of you when I used to grow up watching him and Terry Hatcher as Lois and Clark. It's really mind-boggling to me, bro. But you know, I guess when you don't got money or you're not getting work, you do the craziest shit to get attention.
Gotta make your nut, okay? That was a reference to the recent South Park episode.
But yeah, we live in crazy times when a former Superman has joined ICE. But yeah, anyway. What's going on the rest of this week? We got Wednesday season 2 dropped this week. Haven't had the opportunity to check it out yet. There was also something else that was getting ready to drop soon. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit, that I might do reviews for the channel as demanded or requested, I should say, by Marcelino. We got Peacemaker season 2 coming out later on this month.
Yeah.
And then just great movies to look forward to. But yeah, you know what, Stuart, let's get into our first segment of the day. Well, we got some good internet connection here. Let's go.
Perfect.
Speaking of things that Marcelino wanted me to, and of course, I thought I uploaded this, but I guess I didn't upload this image. So yeah, I don't have an image for this one, unfortunately. But Alien Earth, Stuart, the new Alien television series on FX and Hulu, is dropping. I think it's August 12th or August 13th. It'll be here this upcoming week. But they just released the. Can you find the Alien Earth release schedule for the episodes? They posted it on Twitter. It's like a little visual diagram, but they're going to be doing a episode 1 and 2 premiere together. So they're dropping the first 2 episodes together for Alien Earth August 12th, I believe it is.
Yeah, and then 19th, and yeah, every week it'll be the new episode. With
how many episodes in general?
8 episodes. The premiere will be on September 23rd.
Oh, September 20th?
Sorry, the finale, not premiere.
Oh.
My bad.
Okay. But August 12th is the premiere date?
Yes, the premiere date is August 12th. Yeah, so 2 days. Okay. I am excited because I love me some Alien.
Yeah, so this is going to be by Noah Hawley, who is known for Fargo, along with the Legion series also. But so he's going to be tackling Alien Earth here. But we may be doing, this is a show Marcelino was asking if we were going to do reviews for. I may do it. He did ask. He says, please do. So I may do weekly reviews for Alien Earth. So look forward to that. We also got a brand new I should say we did get a brand new trailer, I should say, for Wicked for Good. They also went ahead and released brand new posters for this. I truly cannot wait for this movie, Stuart. Like, I truly cannot. I was a really big fan of the first one, but I think the fact that this is now becoming very parallel during the Wizard of Oz movie is what fascinates me even more. Like, I almost want to rewatch Wizard of Oz now before diving into this, because it does seem like the Dorothy and the gang come into play here. And I do wonder if the events of this portion of the movie are going to be taking place parallel or not. I've never seen the Broadway stage play or anything like that, so this is all new information for me. But I'm really eager to kind of see how this movie goes, especially with considering how the first one began, with Glinda celebrating with the townspeople the death of Elphaba, or the Wicked Witch, because it feels like she definitely feels some type of way about celebrating this. So I am kind of curious to see like how far along does this friendship between these two really kind of go. But I'm looking forward to it, man. Did you see the new trailer by any chance, or no?
I did. I think it's one of the funniest things. Oftentimes, if I predict that something's going to be bad, those are the times I love being proven wrong. And I think Wicked was one of those cases. I kind of went into Wicked with really low expectations. I think the moment they announced Ariana Grande was going to be in the movie, that's when I'm like, okay, they just do not care. This is just a cash grab. Boy, was I wrong, not only about the movie itself, but honestly, even about Ariana Grande, because she did freaking amazing in that. Same with Cynthia. Oh crap, I forgot her name. But the one that played the Wicked Witch, she was great. So I absolutely loved it. I thought them breaking into 2 parts was a stupid decision, but I kind of get where they're going with it. They aren't like copying the play. They are doing their own thing with it. So they're taking like the base structure of the play, but they're adding their own plot to it that wasn't there. The whole thing with the animals not being able to speak, that's like a whole thing that they're adding. And I think it works. They're giving a very different experience, and that's totally fine. I think it works for the movie, and it makes sense that they didn't want to just copy the original Broadway play and just try to make that, because it just wouldn't have been as it wouldn't have as much skeptical or spectacle as you would have had in a movie. So I'm really looking forward to this movie after the first movie. I hope they can keep that momentum going, because that first movie got me really excited for this.
Yeah, I hope so too. I really do. Also in the news, My Adventures with Green Lantern is back. For those of you who don't know, there's a new animated series that's going to be happening directly from DC Studios. This was actually announced back in February from DC Studios and Warner Brothers Animation. This show is set to be younger skewing. And they have a couple of other DC animated shows too, Superpowers and Starfire, that's set to happen. It says My Adventures with Green Lantern will follow high school student Jessica Cruz, who has her life upended when a Green Lantern power ring falls from the sky and chooses Cruz to be its champion. Things get worse when more debris from the Lantern's ancient space war arrives, along with their alien foes. The reason why I bring this up today, they actually are doing a casting call. They're casting for it now. According to a particular media website, it says a casting call has gone out for the Jessica Cruz role. DC is looking for someone 18 or older to play the character, who will be between the ages 14 and 15. So they're making her a little bit younger skewed. I think Jessica's an adult in the comic book, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is she a cop or something like that?
She's a young adult, not a cop.
Oh, okay.
She,
Not a cop.
I actually don't remember what her career is.
It says this role will sing in the series, looking for talent who can sing. Jessica had a normal childhood. She played softball, hung out with her best friends Kyle and Nikki, and stayed out of trouble. I wonder if that Kyle is Kyle Rayner or Kyle Reiner.
Ooh.
I'm kind of curious. But Jess's life collapsed when everyone around her hit puberty and got mean. Betrayed by friends and bullied out of softball, Jess withdrew. Better to be small and safe than be yourself and get hurt. We meet Jess at the top of high school, a chronically anxious freshman who starts the year hoping to keep her head down and get by, but who ends up being chosen by a magic ring to be the cosmic champion of all life, the Green Lantern. Despite her fear, anxiety, and her low opinion of herself, Jess will find that she does have a tenacity and courage to meet this challenge to become the world's greatest hero. So casting call has gone out for Jessica Cruz. We also have oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if they can't find anyone, I'm sure Diane Guerrero would love to reprise the role, because she voiced her in Justice League: The Fatal Five.
Oh, she did, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, no,
I just don't know if Denai can execute a 14 or 15-year-old voice, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not sure how she would do in that particular sense, but this is an interesting direction to take the character. I don't know, because I don't know if her origin is the same as Justice League Fatal 5, but definitely a much safer, especially because they're going for a young audience for this. Definitely a lot less dark than the one that they went with in the Fatal 5, which is basically her literally watching all of her friends get killed one by one.
Oh yeah, let's not try and adapt that one for these little kids, for sure.
Yeah.
That's brutal. We also got official look here at John Bernthal from The Punisher. This is The Punisher special presentation, which just officially wrapped filming. The Punisher special presentation has officially wrapped. There's even a speech going around from John Bernthal as he's talking to the cast and crew for bringing it all together. But the special presentation has officially wrapped. I'm assuming now, wherever he's at, he's going to stop filming. He's going to get himself together and take a flight out to Glasgow to be also on the set for Spider-Man Brand New Day shortly after. John Bernthal's got a full schedule, Stuart.
He's got this going on for him, the Spider-Man movie, and then also, not to mention, I imagine there's still pickup shots for the Odyssey going on.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was probably I got to imagine he was in season 2 of Daredevil, you think?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. He's undoubtedly going to be in season 2. I'm pretty sure.
Born Again? Yeah. Busy schedule, man. This guy's busy.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Oh, last but not least, let me see if this works, Stuart. I'm gonna try and share this with you guys. We got a brand new day one on set video.
Ooh.
Yeah, we wind up getting we got some images that we'll look at here shortly, but YouTube or Sony dropped just a 1-minute video to celebrate filming beginning. This is day one on set. Let's go, baby. Let's check this out.
Alrighty.
So how you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's day one.
Day one?
My 4th ever day one on Spider-Man. You know, it's funny, putting the suit on, it feels different this time, somehow. It's also the first time we've ever had fans on set.
That's
for day
crazy
one,
to think about
it's
that.
really exciting to share this with them.
You all good?
We've got some familiar faces on set.
Oh, see you, man.
You know, I'm just going to do my best, hopefully get it right. No pressure.
Wow, that was a really good one. That felt sick.
That felt sick, bro. Let me tell you, man. Marvel is really celebrating the return of Spider-Man. And I'm honestly here for it. This week alone, because of the fact, I think, Stuart, because they are filming outside on location, similar, I think, to what James Gunn did in the sense of like, yes, we're going to have some things that are filmed on location, some things we're going to be having filmed on set. But if we know we're going to be outside, there are going to be eyes. There are just some things we just cannot hide from people. And what James Gunn did was he literally held the first look at Superman until he absolutely couldn't anymore, until he knew we're about to be outside here soon. I need to release this first look image. And Marvel did something similar. They kind of teased, the day before filming began, they kind of teased the silhouette of the suit. But once filming began, it was just like, we're just gonna show you all the pictures. We're just gonna bring you into the process and let you see Tom Holland and everything. And to me, this is very much not just a celebration of the return of Spider-Man, but I think that it is something important of letting the fans in again and like letting us sort of celebrate the MCU in that regards and really build that hype machine. We've got great momentum from Thunderbolts into Fantastic Four, and now you want to carry that momentum. And if I'm Marvel Studios, the idea that the first day is on location, you got the fact that Tom Holland says this is the first time on day one that we've had people present. I got to imagine the vibe and the energy there is just palpable. Like everybody's just loving this moment. And I got to say, I think just visually it looks great for Marvel Studios, but it's just like it feels like a celebration of the return of Tom Holland and Spider-Man. And I'm loving this, Stuart.
Yeah, like, man, the fact that they're getting like started from just like day one, like with immediately going into like the big action scene, filming outdoors, which is really cool because a lot of studio shots when it comes to the Spider-Man movies. And honestly, like it's like a mixture of the suit, the crowd, and then the area that they're filming in. This kind of reminds me of the Spider-Man Rhino scene from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hopefully this is a better movie than Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then you and I both commented on the suit. I really like it. It's, again, I like that it actually looks like a real like suit like that someone would wear, and it doesn't have kind of like the usual like tech enhancements that you saw in like the other versions of the MCU Spider-Man suit. Like the only tech you really see in this one are the web shooters on the side of his forearm. So I also, do just like it kind of reminds me of like some of the recent, videos from the movie Superman when they were like showing him interacting with the crowd. I love that we kind of get that with Spider-Man here. I feel like, the two heroes that like a whole crowd will show up to see, especially if, you get the official actors like, out in public, Spider-Man and Superman. Oh, you're muted.
And they're doing practical swinging here this time too. They got these big cranes, these big ropes that the stuntman is just swinging himself back and forth as they're filming. Live explosions and stuff, man. I mean, it just don't get no better than this. It's just really, I love this shot. Like this is one of the coldest shots that I've seen. This just feels like a rock band CD cover or something like that. Like this is proof that any picture can almost become a CD cover. Like you just needs the like parent discretion advised sticker up here somewhere and we're good. But this just looks so cool, just being able to see the fact that we've got not only just practical swinging back again, which I don't know why it left in the first place, but then also just to be able to see Spider-Man in a crowd. Like they're not even filming in New York, but it feels like Spider-Man's back in New York. Like this is like New York's web slinger. It's just a vibe that I'm really getting, man. So I'm really glad that they allowed the crowd to be there, photos to be taken and stuff, because this just feels like a celebration of the return of, I don't want to say one of the OGs, but Tom Holland's kind of like an OG now compared to who we have left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the I think the oldest MCU actor in terms of solo movies. I think someone in the or I guess Chris Hemsworth, because it seems like the Hulk franchise or the Thor franchise is still going on. But yeah, like he and Thor like the oldest in terms of like solo movies, I believe.
Maybe Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is probably up there with him.
Oh, right. Sorry, there are more examples. I just, for some reason, didn't think of them on the top of my head. But yeah, he is, in a way, like, because, a lot of the older ones are, not getting their solar, they're still in the MCU, but, like, they're not really getting their own movies as much.
But, yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts on the brand new Spider-Man, brand new day, not only set photos, but also the day one on set. It's really good to have Tom Holland back. And, I was just thinking he's teaming up with Destin Daniel Cretton, I believe, the director from Shang-Chi. So the fact that he's the one that brings back practical effects after the amazing Shang-Chi movie that he wind up doing, I really want to see what their style looks like collaborating and working together, and to kind of see how different his Spider-Man movie is going to be from John Watts stuff. And can I just say too, I've been seeing a lot of John Watts hate all of a sudden, like just because of the fact that there's a lot of practical swinging and John Watts didn't want to do practical swinging. I don't know. I feel like for some reason now people are like crapping on him and his trilogy of movies or something like that. Like John Watts didn't give us gold. It's kind of crazy sometimes the recency bias that people have on the internet.
I was gonna say, yeah, because no one was complaining about it when it happened. I don't think I don't remember too many complaints. But yeah, no, I as much as I didn't mind it with the John Watts movie, I do like that this is a shift. But that's not going to make me go back and look at the John Watts movies and go, oh man, this trilogy sucks now.
Oh yeah, no, not absolutely not. I am excited to see the how dynamic the movement is going to be for Spidey going forward with the new director here. So we'll see. But we'll keep you guys posted. But that will do it for all of our honorable mentions. Let me get to some chats here before we go into our main topics. Ram Jim says Hulu is merging with Disney Plus. Yes, they are pulling the trigger on that. I believe in early 2026. I believe. I could be wrong as to when this is going to begin, but Hulu and Disney Plus will in fact be merging under one banner. Disney already owns Hulu, so this transition felt like this was a long time coming, but what you find on Hulu will now be on Disney Plus. Why Arc, what's up? I heard Wednesday season 2 is bad. Really? I haven't heard it, but then again, I haven't really been in the loop. Like in that algorithm to really hear reviews on the show. I do have somebody I follow on TikTok that did say the first episode they were a big fan of. So, but I don't know. I'll have to see it for myself.
I heard like one problem is that like because they waited 3 years to make it, a lot of the characters whose personality was supposed to revolve around them being like small, like in the case of oh god, what's his name, Wednesday's brother, instead of being small and tubby, now he's like tall, lengthy, and even taller than Wednesday now.
Yeah, because I was like, it's got to be a whole new actor now, right? Or is it the same? Because
The same actor. That's the thing.
Really?
If I were, I don't know if this makes me a mean person, but if I were the showrunner, I would probably have just recasted.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was the same kid. He looks completely different to me when I watched season 1, but okay, that's crazy. Marcelino says, I am watching the Legion show and I understand why people like the series, but it isn't for me. It's so boring to me, but I need to finish it. Understandable. Not everything hits everybody the same way. Blossom in the house. What's up, Blossom? Good to see you as always. Was with family. That's cool. Spend your time with your family. The screenshots of Spider-Man. Geez, oh, Angela. The camera people so want to learn from them, speaking as a rookie animator. Yeah, they got some really cool shots from there for sure. The stunt and camera people sure know what they're doing. Hey, I used to, for the longest time, I wanted to become a cameraman. Maybe I'm a little bit too old for that shit now. I don't know, but
I feel like photography or just cinematography or anything is something you can kind of pick up anytime.
I should, but if I got to lug around a big ass camera, but then again, I guess they got the cranes and stuff to hold the cameras for you, or at least the really heavy stuff. I don't know, but we'll see. There's a lot to learn in superhero movies, especially since I plan to do my own hero stories with my characters someday. Very cool.
Nice.
Adam, nobody is too old for anything. Understand me? Okay, Blossom. Yes. All right. You're right. You're right. Put me in my place. You're right.
Wait, does that mean I can go back and play high school football?
Except that. All right. With that out of the way, guys, let's get into our main topics today while our internet is working right now. Guys, first up, we got 6 incredible topics for you guys today. A DCU update. We got some Batman to talk about, some Superman to talk about, some potential DCU movies. We'll see. We got some Spider-Man animated spin-off stuff for you, if you will. Some Star Wars stuff today. One Piece stuff we're going to be talking about. It should be a pretty good show. But first up, Stuart, let's get into James Gunn and his DCU, shall we? A success for Superman, if you ask me, guys. We are, a month separated from the release of Superman. What's the box office for right now, Stuart? Can you box office mojo this for me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how much Superman has made, but DC Studios is quite happy with the trajectory in which Superman is currently going right now. David Zaslav has certainly commented on Superman being a huge success. It's cracked the over $500 million mark right now, and it looks like they're really eager as to what the future is going to hold for the Superman property, along with whatever else is certainly set to come. And so this week, we wind up getting a little bit of an update in regards to maybe what the future might potentially hold, as we're getting some news on a potential Superman movie, and maybe further updates in regards to the Batman, as production is set to begin rather shortly here. Stuart, how much has Superman made so far? Did you find that?
Yeah, so it's worldwide 569 million, so round up to 570. International 243, and then domestic 325, 100,000 or 100 million.
So yeah, the movie has struggled internationally. I don't know if Superman has ever really played big internationally, but crossing $570 million is certainly nothing to sneeze at for a DC DC Studios company that struggled to get people in the door with its last movie outing, to certainly say the least. So they're definitely looking at this as a big win and a big positive trajectory going forward, as word of mouth has been crazy good for Superman. A lot of people have come out of Superman saying it's one of their best comic book movies of all time. So I think for David Zaslav's, he's got to be running high right now. In regards to what the future is going to hold. And according to deadline.com, we do have a little bit of an update as to the future, not just for Superman himself, but also the Dark Knight, if you will. According to Deadline, it says the Batman Part 2 to start filming in spring. Warner Brothers Discovery confirms James Gunn is writing next movie in Superman family. So it says a letter to shareholders this morning has confirmed that Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2 will start filming in the spring. This is for an October 1st, 2027 theatrical release. A part of me honestly was thinking that maybe this movie might be ready to go pre-production wise, like at the very beginning of the year, like January or so. But it looks like they're going to be aiming for summertime here. It says the note praised the recent success of Superman, which has already grossed $560 million worldwide. James Gunn is already preparing to write the next installment in the Super family, he confirmed. In film, James Gunn is busy preparing the next installments of the DC Super family, including Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Clayface, and the next Wonder Woman. In addition, Batman 2 is preparing to begin shooting next spring, among several other projects in development. The 10-year vision for the DC Universe also includes an exciting array of television projects. He talks about the Penguin, the upcoming new season of Peacemaker, the debut of Lanterns in 2026. The DC franchise will increasingly overlay across the studio's broad efforts from film and TV to consumer goods, games, as experiences, and social. Separately, according to production lists, the Batman 2 has officially entered the pre-production stage. So yeah, things are beginning to move here. I was trying to see if there's any other information. But yeah, that looks like that's about it. So when it comes to the Batman, Stuart, the Batman Part 2 currently in pre-production. So we're talking probably casting, we're talking storyboarding, probably talking set designs getting worked up right now, location scouting probably, all ready for spring of 2026. How excited are you to know that Matt Reeves has got us a brand new Batman movie that's actually preparing itself to be filmed?
Very excited. I love that Matt Reeves, I love that he took his time with the previous or writing the script. I love that he clearly put a lot of time and effort and passion into it. Really wants this movie to be as great, if not better than the first one. That being said, I'm getting impatient, so I'm really happy that it's finally starting production because I really want to see this movie. Because first movie was great. I absolutely loved the Penguin show, and I still stand by what I said after finishing the Penguin show. If Batman decides to break his no-kill rule just specifically for the Penguin, I won't be mad. I can't wait. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. I'm pretty excited for this one too. I gotta say, I'm glad that we're finally getting ourselves a Batman come 2027. I know James Gunn mentioned the idea that, like, regardless, we will be getting a Batman in 2027 from somebody, whether it was going to be Matt Reeves or James Gunn. It does make me curious as to, now that we know Batman is scheduled for 2027, if this is going to slow down James Gunn from then creating his own Brave and the Bold. Like, would they dare release a Batman project the same two Batman projects the same year, or does this now kind of solidify a push for Brave and the Bold for like a 2028 sort of release schedule? That's something I will be pretty fascinated to kind of learn about. But I am glad to see that it's kind of coming full circle. Earlier this week, we had rumors too that according to Jeff Schneider, the insider source online, that's apparently one of his sources told him that Robin was potentially going to be in this movie, that he might have been in a script, but James Gunn was quick to come out and kind of debunk that. So we'll see exactly what happens in the script. I mean, James Gunn said, he's like, I don't know where people are getting this news from. 6 people have literally only seen the script. So I'm like, I don't know. So clearly calling it kind of nonsense. But I don't know what the script holds, but I am excited that we are finally going to be revisiting this. If there is any questions that I have going forward, it's just going to be, is this going to still continue to be a trilogy? Because of the length of time it's taken just to get the sequel, is this going to be the end of this kind of story, or will they continue this Batman saga after this? I have no idea. I'm sure that's probably something James Gunn and then will certainly decide on after the movie is filmed and ready for release. Because if I'm James Gunn, I'm like, Matt, I know you got a lot on your plate, but please start writing part 3 now. Like, please. If you have an idea as to where this story is going to go. But so I'm excited. I don't think people are going to get confused by this. I think because we've had the Batman already and kind of established its own tone and pacing for the movie when it comes to Matt Reeves, I think people will understand that these are two completely different universes. So I'm just curious to see how James Gunn is going to work around this, having to balance the Batman and then the Brave New World Batman. I really have no idea what they're going to do. But regardless, I'm excited for this news. Oh, go ahead, Stuart.
Huh? Oh, I was just going to say
you and me
both. Oh, I was just going to say you and me both.
I am curious. Now, the Superman aspect of things is interesting to me. According to David Zaslav, James Gunn is writing the next installment for the Super Family, is how he refers to it. He doesn't refer to it as a Superman sequel. James Gunn has come out and said, what I'm writing is not quite a Superman sequel, but it has Superman in it. Superman will be heavily involved in it. Yeah, and immediately people start thinking World's Finest, and I'm just thinking, God, no. Just because we just got a Batman versus Superman, I don't need the Snyder Bros to be like, see, James Gunn is just recycling ideas. Batman versus Superman. I don't need a World's Finest right now. But I am curious as to what he is working on. If it's not a Superman, is it going to be titled Super Family? Is this going to be a team up movie between cousins? I have no idea what this. What do you think he means when he says Super Family? Do you think it's just like a bowl, like a broad? I don't know how to explain it, but
I don't know, because in my head, I want to go to the comic book Super Family, but I don't think we have enough Kryptonians to establish a Super Family at this point, since we've only gotten Superman and his cousin Supergirl. So honestly, I don't know. I think when he meant Super Family, I think what he meant was maybe it was more of a broad term, so everyone who's part of the Superman movie is part of that family. So it could honestly be referring to one of the rumored spin-offs, with Jimmy Olsen or Mr. Terrific, with Superman being heavily featured in one of those two spin-offs, but not necessarily being the main character.
There's a part of me that was wondering, well, if it's not a Superman sequel, what could this movie be? When he says Super Family, I just start thinking to myself, maybe James Gunn is getting set to introduce us to other, not Kryptonians, but other people that we've seen in the comic books. Maybe there's a Superboy is coming. Right? I mean, we already know that Lex Luthor has cloned Superman once. Who's to say that there's not another clone still, tucked away somewhere that, comes out of his chamber or something like that. Like I would love like a 1990s Superboy inspired with the leather jacket, the fucking shades and stuff. Like, give me that Superboy. Or maybe we even get introduced to Steel. Like,
Ooh.
right, like maybe, but I'm like, what kind of movie is that? Maybe you name it like The Reign of Superman or something like that. And you have like a eradicator or a cyborg Superman, and now Superman needs help, and now we get introduced to Steel and this new Superboy. I really have no idea, but like when he says super family, and we already know we've got a Superman movie, we already know we got a Supergirl movie. I'm like, maybe this is a way to introduce us to other, like you said, Superman like characters. But like, what movie would that be? But yeah, that's what really is had me scratching my head. But I see the potential there, though.
Yeah, definitely. James Gunn's behind it, and we'll have like David Cornsway coming back as his version of Superman. So whatever it is, I'm pretty hyped. I hope though this doesn't mean we don't get like I hope that it's not like kind of like the future of these movies are going to be like different spin-offs. Like I hope we do still get like traditional movie sequels. So like a Superman 2, for example. And it's not just going to be like, everything is now just spin-off. We don't do traditional sequels anymore.
God, we need a sequel. Like, while I appreciate what James is doing in regards to giving us something else with Superman in it, I think that's how it should be. Like, Superman should play an active role in other people's movies, even if it's just a cameo. I believe not every movie, but if it's fitting, then yeah, put him in there. But God, I'm over the one-offs of Superman. Like, we asked and begged for a Man of Steel sequel for years, and we never got it. The fact that Christopher Reeve is the only Superman to have sequels to his Superman movies is a travesty. I really, really need David to have a sequel to Superman at some point in time. Please don't forget about him, James. Please.
Oh my gosh, that would be insane. It's like literally the first movie he made is DC Universe, and he forgets about it.
It would be a travesty. It would be a
Yeah.
travesty. Let's see. Marcelino says, since James Gunn says super family, I wonder if that means we'll get Steel, Superboy, and other Superman characters. That's kind of what I'm under the impression of too. Ram Jim says Eradicator Superman would be interesting. It certainly would. Only problem with adapting Reign of Superman is that some people are tired of Kryptonian villains and want other villains with different power sets to be the main villain. Possible. I'm just throwing things off the top of my head right now as to what when he says he's working on the next super family installment, it's like, what is that even? Like, I also wouldn't be opposed to like Superboy and the Legionnaires and the Legion of Superheroes. I kind of tease the idea of maybe Supergirl leading us into a Legion of Superheroes kind of cosmic aspect of things. But considering that James Gunn loves his cosmic, he also loves working with like a big ensemble cast. I feel like a Legion of Superheroes would actually probably be a really good fit for somebody like James Gunn to try and bring to life. But I don't know if that's the route that he wants to go. Ram Jam says Bizarro. I think Bizarro is a possibility. Based off of how Superman ends with his clone falling into like a black hole within like a pocket dimension. Something tells me that could potentially lead to like our Bizarro clone and him eventually coming back in like a future sequel. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But let us know your thoughts, guys. How are you guys feeling about a Batman Part 2 getting ready for production in the spring? And James Gunn working on his next super installment. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. Oh, sorry, Stuart. Next up from that story to our next one. Look, we're going to stick inside the DCU here. As not only do we have the Batman and Superman to look forward to, but there's an up and coming filmmaker, Stuart, that is um, making a name for himself right now, and that gentleman's name is Zach Cregger or Cregger. Most notably known from his fantastic movie in Barbarian a couple years ago, and now with the release of his new film Weapons, currently out in theaters. His movie is getting high praise, and he's getting high praise also. For those of you who don't know, Zach Cregger is also attached to do the upcoming Resident Evil movie. And so people have been fighting to get this guy's attention and to get his work to their studio. And Zach Cregger let us know, Stuart, that his next movie, or a potential movie he would love to do, believe it or not, is a DCU movie. That's right. Apparently, my man Zach Cregger has already written a script for a potential DC Universe movie by the name of Henchman. That's right, Henchman. I thought this would be interesting to kind of go down this rabbit hole and hear exactly what this could potentially be about. But if Zach Cregger, Stuart, says, I've got a script idea in mind, we might want to listen. So let's check this out. This comes to us from, what website is this? Games Radar. It's a spinoff of Total Films website. Zach Cregger has a DC Universe script finish starring Batman and Joker as background characters. Let's see what this says. The most reassuring thing about DC's Universe's future is a variety of wild directions it's heading in. Besides James Gunn putting the wind back in Superman's cape with the season 2 of Peacemaker just around the corner, there's also Mike Flanagan's penned Clayface movie that's getting quickly pieced together and set to squeeze some horror into the mix. One script that hasn't been added to the shelf and sounds like it's absolutely should be, however, is writing and directing Dynamo Zach Cregger's passion project that he's completed but has not actually pitched to DC Studios yet. It says Hollywood Reporter can confirm that the script, entitled Henchman, follows a low-level thug in Gotham City who becomes a name around town after managing to bring down the Bat through sheer luck. The story understandably contains appearances from The Dark Knight, as well as the Joker and Harley Quinn, who might be pretty peeved that some no-name criminal has managed to do what they never could. The concept has been close to Krieger's heart for some time, and back in 2022, the director expressed his immense enthusiasm to work on it if he was ever given a shot. He says, if I got the call, I would drop everything and go make that movie in a heartbeat. It's my favorite thing I've ever written. I love it, and I'm dying to make it. I have not talked to James Gunn in my whole life. I don't know him, but I would certainly love to meet him and have a conversation. Who knows, man? But yeah, his next project right now, I believe, is Resident Evil after he does his weapons thing. But it looks like Zach Cregger has himself an idea here, Stuart. So you hear his pitch here. What do you think about it?
I'm gonna say this. If it wasn't coming from him, I would say that just sounds like an incredibly generic pitch that I've heard, like, a million different variations of in the past. So I wouldn't really be too excited for it if it was just him. If I didn't know anything about the director himself, let me put it that way. But knowing the director, knowing his style of filmmaking, and I say knowing, even though he's only done 2 movies. I mean, he's done 3. There was another one he did early 2000s, which was like this pretty funny comedy, but very different from Barbarian and Weapons. But yeah, like looking at Barbarian and Weapons specifically, the style that he likes with directing, and I think he could pull it off. I think that this is the type of movie where if I was going to give it to anyone, this would be the kind of director who I'd give it to. So I'd say that as of now, I'd be cautiously optimistic about it. I'd want to read the script first to really get an idea of what his direction would be. But yeah, it is intriguing to say the least.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued. I'm really intrigued. I don't know if I'm ready to green light it immediately if I'm James Gunn, well, but I definitely would be willing to listen to it, or to read it for sure. Look, let me say this. I would agree with you, Stuart, in the sense that when it comes to Zach Cregger, based off of just what I've seen from Barbarian and just from what people have told me about Weapons, in the sense of just the twists, you never know what to expect. Like, the movie takes you in a direction that you're like, what the F? The fact that this man takes so many creative swings, and really brings a lot of originality to the movies that he winds up creating. I would agree with you. If there's anybody that could take this concept and really kind of make it work, it probably would be this guy. And the fact that he says he thinks it's the best thing that he's written, I'm thinking, what? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that's crazy to me. But there is something really fascinating about just capturing the Bat in sheer luck. And now that you have him, like, what do you do with him? Right? Like, do you have fun with him in a sense? Do you torture Batman? Like, do you have that ability to kind of do that? Like, how do people out? How does the Joker and Harley Quinn even find out about it? Do they team up with you? Do they want a piece of the action? Like, I am kind of curious as to how you would make this work. But I got to tell you, if there's any way to get on James Gunn's radar, it's Barbarian and Weapons. And if Weapons is received really well, and I would even dare say, if I'm James Gunn, I'm waiting potentially to see how maybe Resident Evil does before I really take his, like, if I'm James Gunn, I'm reaching out to Zach right now. I'm like, let me see the script that you have. And then maybe he'll look at it. Is it as good as maybe Mike Flanagan's Clayface, who certainly knows? But I think the true measure is probably going to come with, I would probably wait to see what he's going to do with Resident Evil first. If he could he's great at original stories, clearly, but what happens when he takes an IP that's beloved by so many people in Resident Evil? Can he make an original, great horror movie that people that love the video game can kind of appreciate as well? And if he can do that well with Resident Evil, then maybe take even a second gander or a third gander at his DC Studios script. But I can't imagine that James Gunn wouldn't be interested in at least reading this script. And while you're on the press tour for Weapons right now, if I'm Zach Cregger, I'm name dropping Henchman, I'm name dropping James Gunn, I'm name dropping DC Studios, every opportunity that I get to try and at least get this man's attention before you start working on Resident Evil. But I would agree with you, Stuart. If there's anybody that I think can probably make this work, I'll have to see Weapons myself first. But I do think he can take a concept like that and actually really make it work. I really do think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait for you to see Weapons, because I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't Marcelino does say he says the Henchman movie sounds exactly like the plot of the Batman animated series episode.
That's right.
It might be inspired by that. It would not surprise me, because I think Mike Flanagan's Clayface is also inspired from a Batman animated series episode. So it would not surprise me if that's the case. But I guess if I have a question, Stuart, like, I think the only thing that would hold James Gunn back is, like, look, we've got a Clayface movie by a horror guy. Then we're going to come out with our Batman Brave New World movie. And then, or Brave New World, Brave and the Bold. And then and then maybe our third appearance of Batman is going to be a Henchman, another villain movie by a horror guy. Maybe it's a little bit too repetitive in that sense. of like, are all DCU movies now going to be villain centric movies? Is that how we're going to introduce them to the Batman? But there is an element to this concept that kind of works for me from like a comic book point of view, if that makes sense. Like, I because comic books have cameos and appearances from superheroes all the time, like I could easily see something like Clayface literally being used as the first appearance of our Batman, because that's in the comic books, that's kind of how it would almost play out too, right? Like the last page would be Batman coming in and it would be like to be continued, right? And then, you know, you'd get like the first full appearance of Batman in his own movie or his own series sort of thing. So I'm wondering how flexible James Gunn feels about allowing his Batman or his Superman to play roles in other movies that may not necessarily be full-on lead roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like if any director would be comfortable, or any producer would be comfortable with that, it would be James Gunn. And I say that only based on like how he hypes up the DC universe, in terms of him constantly like saying that, yeah, we don't necessarily have a very specific direction we have to go in. And then, yeah, the idea of like characters kind of crossing over, you know, even if it's a small role, as long as it's like important for the story, you know, I think that like above all, he picks story more than anything. So if you need Batman as a small role in a movie that doesn't focus on him to tell that story, but you still need him in the movie for the story to work, I think that's something that James Gunn could definitely work with. Oh, you're muted.
And that would be something I would be open to. The idea of like not only Superman and Batman still being capable of having their own sequels and their own story focused stuff, but considering how big of a role they play just in this universe, I don't know if I'm opposed to the idea of them popping up in other people's movies as sort of side characters. Or supporting characters instead of necessarily the lead role. Like when I think of Clayface, I don't know how you make that movie without a Batman in it. Even if it's just the idea of Clayface origin story, doing what he can, and then the climax is finally being captured by Batman, sort of making his first appearance or something like that. I don't think people would be opposed to that, because then it's like, ooh, we got our appetizer for the Batman, and now we got a Batman movie that's coming. And then if that's successful, then you can play with Batman however you want to and put him into other people's movies. Like still get the opportunity to see what Batman's up to in this universe outside of his own focused stories.
Definitely. And it's also, yeah, a great way, especially if they're doing the Clayface movie next year. If they bring Batman into it, like if they introduce us to Batman through the Clayface movie, it's a great way to let the audience know, hey, Batman is in this universe. It's not Robert Pattinson.
Right.
But, you know, you guys can clearly see these are two very different people, two very different universes. We're going to see more of him coming down the line. So when you see this actor as Batman, you know he's part of this universe.
And you bring up a good point. The fact that this is a universe that Batman lives in, that he's literally a part of. You have already established in Superman that metahumans and the heroes have been around for 300 years. What better way to really solidify the idea that superheroes live in this world already by having a villain-centric movie, and then all of a sudden the superhero comes in at the end to kind of stop him, like, oh shit, yeah, there are superheroes in this world. It's not like this villain is just running loose, right? Like there are consequences to your action, and that's Batman kicking your ass. And so I think that'd be a really great way to debut their Batman, personally.
I think so too, because I think the most common complaint I keep hearing people say about villain solo movies is the fact that, you know, there's no Batman in it or there's no Superman in it. And I think that like that was like what one thing people said about the Joker is I think a lot of people did want the Joker to show up at some point, or sorry, people did want the Batman to show up in the Joker at some point, you know, if this was going to be a franchise, but of course it's not going to happen. But I feel like nowadays we're at a point where you can have a villain solo movie where the villain is the main character, but you can still have a superhero in it as like kind of like the villain's antagonist in a lot of ways. So I think that if you're doing like a Clayface movie, there's no reason you can't have Batman in a Clayface movie be the antagonist. It's something that I've been getting kind of annoyed of with all the Sony villain movies is rather than them giving these villains a hero to fight, they just give them another villain to fight, and it just kind of makes them not feel like villains. Like Kraven the Hunter, I don't see that guy becoming the Kraven that we got in the Kraven the Hunter movie. I don't see how that guy goes on to become one of Spider-Man's arch nemesis. Like, what kind of ideologies do they disagree with? It would make zero sense. Whereas, if they had him being a villain in his own movie, you could have had a character like Spider-Man in the movie, but like as the villain's antagonist, even if he is technically the good guy. And I think that's something that I would love to see DC explore. Give us villain movies, and then give us superheroes in those villain movies, but make those superheroes the antagonist to the villain. Don't make them bad people or anything. Don't make them the bad guy, but make them, we're watching the villain story. Most villains are heroes in their own story. So give us a villain who actually sees this superhero as a bad person. Trust that audiences are smart enough to know, hey, just because this hero is the antagonist, they're still the hero.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun that could really be had with that.
Yeah.
No, you're more than fine. But yeah, I'm hoping that that's a direction that James Gunn will be open to kind of going forward. But we'll see. But I am interested to kind of see what Zach is potentially going to do here. I think he's in a really good position right now. Again, as long as Weapons is a successful movie, and I think again it is probably going to be rather important that his Resident Evil goes off without a hitch too, and isn't necessarily like a 1 or 2 hit wonder. You know what I mean? I think there's got to be some testing of the waters out there for him, and I think if Resident Evil can be a success, then maybe this is something that James Gunn really sort of pays attention to. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really rooting for Resident Evil.
Yeah, I am too. But let us know your thoughts, guys. Actually, we do have some comments here. The difference is that DC, having villain-centric movies, they have more of an outline and long-term plan as opposed to Sony. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Although I see a lot of people fatigued with the idea of a villain movie and think that the comic book villain only works when they're villains. Hold on. Although I see a lot of people being fatigued with the idea of a villain movie and think that comic book villain only works when they're the villains to superhero movies. I think people are probably tired of the villain movie because of how Sony has executed them. Mm-hmm. But I do think that if they maybe executed them a little bit differently in how me and Stuart have kind of been teasing using Batman and something like a Clayface, I think people might be a little bit more open to it, knowing that our protagonist, aka the character's antagonist, being in the movie, I think will probably draw some people in. Tony, what's up, Tony? James could use Cregger's script for the Deathstroke and Bane movie. I mean, well, I would assume that Cregger's script is specifically for his henchmen when it comes to Joker and Harley. But if you're talking about the idea of having Zach Cregger maybe write a script for Deathstroke and Bane, we'll see. I don't know. Marcelino, can Zach Cregger's script at least incorporate one of the Batman family members, even use one of the lesser known ones like Signal, Azrael, Batwoman, etc.? It probably
Ooh, actually,
is that Cregger's script? Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the plot revolves around a henchman capturing Batman by a total accident, for a fact someone like Nightwing or any one of the Bat families would they'd flip Gotham upside down to try to find him. So yeah, I imagine that would be, dude, you can make that into kind of a horror aspect in a way. Like you got the guy just trying to figure out how he can use a captured Batman to his advantage, but he also has people like Nightwing, Batwoman, and just, the overall Bat family hunting him down along with a bunch of supervillains. I feel like, yeah, there's a lot to work with the more I'm thinking about it.
What else we got here? Hungry, what's up, Hungry? Thank you so much for certainly coming through. I have a prediction. I think the Batman Part 2 will be a fusion of two storylines, and that's Batman's Court of Owls and Batman Dark Victory. I don't know if I've read the Dark Victory one. I don't know if you have, Stuart, but I do like the idea of the Court of Owls. I can't, it's been a while since I've watched the Batman. I wonder if they've already kind of teased the concept of the Court of Owls in Part 1. But based off of this being like a crime saga for the Batman, yeah, Court of Owls sounds like a natural progression for them to go. Whether or not that's the route that they go, that I don't know, but I would be interested to see that.
I 100% think
I thought
that,
they did Court of Owls.
Oh,
I was
just gonna say I'm 100% sure that if not in this one, in the Batman 3, eventually within Matt Reeves' trilogy, we are definitely getting the Court of Owls, because they hint at there being like a underground kind of deep state in Gotham. That's exactly what the Court of Owls are. They even hint that Bruce Wayne's dad was a part of this. So I feel like there's a lot of a lot of stuff they left open-ended, and Matt Reeves himself has commented saying that was on purpose, so it could be stuff that he would explore in the Batman 2. So I feel like Court of Owls just seems like the perfect natural progression.
Yeah, I think so too. Damn, I did have something off the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. Hungry says, thus maybe a hot take, but I don't want too many Bat family members, just Batman, the 4 Robins, Catwoman, and Batgirl. That's it. I don't know if he means in like the Batman DCU universe or Matt Reeves Batman universe or not. But if I'm Matt Reeves, I don't want a Robin in my universe. I'm solely going to be focusing on Batman. That's just me. That would be what I would want. But when it comes to James Gunn's, yeah, give me as many Batman family members as you can. Maybe not too many. I would agree in the sense that the Robins, or now Nightwing and some of the Robins, Catwoman, Batgirl, and then maybe 1 or 2 other people might be pretty dope, but maybe not. Don't make it too big. But
yeah.
Frankie, Dark Victory is incredible, and it does feature a gritty introduction for Dick Grayson's Robin. Okay. Interesting. I've never read it before. I'm gonna have to read that one.
Oh, okay. So it's like an origin for Dick Grayson. Cool. All right,
guys. And with that out of the way, we will move on to our next topic here. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in regards to Zach Cregger's potential DC Studios script. Do you think it should get made? Do you think he should at least be given an opportunity? Somebody just at least set up a meeting between this man and James Gunn, please, to see what's kind of going on, if it's something they can work with or not. From there, we will move on to the MCU side of things, Stuart, for our next topic, as fresh off of the success of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, is Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk got a ton of notoriety, not just from the comic books when they did their huge Spider-Verse crossover, which directly from the comic books, Spider-Punk for me was always one of my favorites out of the Spider-Verse. But then we got introduced to him a little bit more in Across the Spider-Verse. He became his own prominent figure. And now it looks as though he's going to get the opportunity to maybe shine a little bit more, Stuart, as according to Deadline.com, there may be an animated feature in the works with Daniel Kaluuya certainly coming back to reprise his role. So let's go ahead and dive into this brand new bit of information here. Again, this comes to us from Deadline.com. Let me bring this up for you guys. Spider-Punk animated feature from Daniel Kaluuya in development over at Sony. It says Sony Pictures Animation is in early development on a Spider-Punk animated feature from co-writers Daniel Kaluuya. So he's actually going to be co-writing it. And Ajan Singh from Primetime, Deadline has learned. Plot details are under wraps. and there are no deals in place at this time. The natural assumption, of course, is that Kaluuya will reprise the role of Spider-Punk, which he played in 2023's Across the Spider-Verse, and will reprise in the upcoming Beyond the Spider-Verse. Amy Pascal will join Christopher Miller and Lord and Miller in producing after working with them on the Spider-Verse movies and other projects. Created by writer Dan Slott, Spider-Punk is a version of Spider-Man who leans into a more anarchist, anti-establishment attitude than Peter Parker's version. Residing on Earth 138, the character is fueled by his desire to help take down corporate systems. Hey, that sounds like perfect timing for a movie. Across the Spider-Verse is the second film in the trilogy. The first film, yada yada yada. Okay, you get the gist of things. So yeah, so this is looking to be co-written by Daniel Kaluuya. You know what, Stuart? I have a terrible confession to make. I have yet to still watch Across the Spider-Verse.
What?
I've been holding out on watching Across the Spider-Verse for quite some time. I see it all the time on my streaming service, and I'm like, I really need to watch this movie, and I continue to not do so. As much as people keep telling me it's like the best Spider-Man movie of all time. So I really need to check out Across the Spider-Verse. But regardless, I am a huge Spider-Punk fan. I absolutely love this character. I'm so glad that he got his notoriety and praise from Across the Spider-Verse. So look, if Daniel Kaluuya is going to be co-writing it, and they are talking about the idea of Lord and Miller also at least producing the movie, and they've had their hands kind of tied in a little bit of everything that's been going on in regards to animation side and TV series side of things. Then yes, if it's Sony animation, out of the Spider-Verse stuff spinoff, I'm fully behind this. And honestly, I think if you ask me, because of the fact that he's sort of like the anarchist, sort of anti-establishment, fighting against corrupt systems, I just think for like a zeitgeist, sort of very like now moment in time in which we are as far as like society and how our government is run and billionaire tech bros and stuff, like I feel like there's a really great story in here somewhere to bring down the man, to burn it all down sort of a mentality, and I would love to kind of see how Spider-Punk fits into something like that. So I think this is perfect timing. It seems like it's in the works, considering the fact that they say like there's no deals in place yet. Plot details are still under wraps. This feels like it's still very much in early development here, but it's a promising one to say the least. Something I would be eager and looking forward to. What about you, Stuart?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm still shocked that you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse. That's kind of blowing my mind. But yeah, like a Spider-Punk movie does sound about right. You know, because they have the spin-off show with Spider Noir coming out, and that came because a lot of people loved Spider Noir from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. But now we got with Spider-Man and Spider-Punk coming out with you know, this running off the hype train from Across the Spider-Verse. Also, that also makes a lot of sense, because I do remember after that movie had come out, a lot of people really loved his character, which is pretty funny because even in universe, I think he was like the more popular Spider-Man. Like there was even like the joke where he takes his mask off and Miles Morales is just like, how are you cooler even without the mask? So you know, I think there's a lot of potential there. Yeah, I color me intrigued for sure. Yeah, I'm sorry, my mind is still blown. You haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I really am. I hope that this comes to fruition. It sounds like it's very much like really early stages, so who knows if this is something that's eventually going to get picked up and actually, you know, go into like pre-production at some point in time. But it's promising. I think it'll certainly work. Marcin says, if Disney and Marvel own Spider-Man completely, how would Spider-Punk fit into the MCU?
Well, I don't know. For me, I would personally, with the exception of Miles Morales, I would just have most other Spider-Man characters just exist outside the MCU in like different universes. If I were in charge of the MCU, I would keep like, you know, the Spider-Verse as it is, and then have the only two Spider-Man like in the MCU being Peter Parker and Miles Morales. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't bring other Spider-Man into the MCU. It would just be that if they were in it, it would be through the multiverse and those kind of means.
Well, this would be the perfect saga for him to pop up in for sure.
Yeah.
Because we're in that multiversal saga right now. So definitely makes sense, you know, in regards to how they decided to use him. This would be perfect timing. Maybe he could have popped up in like something like a Multiverse of Madness or some shit like that.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
But yeah, I gotta put Across the Spider-Verse on my radar. I have to. I've been meaning to do a new ranking system for Spider-Man movies, and I can't really do one unless I check out Across the Spider-Verse. So I need to check out Across the Spider-Verse as of right now. So yeah, I will put that on my to-do list. I was just literally talking with a girlfriend the other day. We were up in bed trying to figure out what to watch, and we're like, oh my God, we've got so much stuff to catch up on, dude. Like this just we just, you know, we literally just finished Cobra Kai like last week. Yeah. Nice ending to the show, to say the least. Was really pleased with it. But yeah, there's just so much shit we have to watch. It's hard to keep up with him. I really would like to see how Kevin Feige would have handled Spider-Punk and the other Spider-Man in the MCU. They probably, you know, because we're in the multiverse right now, I think maybe had we not gotten something like a Into the Spider-Verse animated stuff, I do wonder if Spider-Man 4 would have been turned into another multiversal type movie. Maybe that's how they would have introduced him. Who knows? But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. Would you like to see a Spider-Punk animated feature? It looks like it's in very early development. We'll keep you posted if there's any movement on it going forward. But let us know your thoughts. And with that out of the way, Stuart, we got a couple more topics for you guys today. We're going to go to one of our favorite topics to talk about, and that is, in fact, Star Wars, baby. As Star Wars Starfighter is back in the news. Stuart, it's happening. It's happening. Movies are, well, I was going to say movies are being made, but this movie is not in the process of being shot yet. But with every casting announcement, Stuart, we get closer and closer to another Star Wars movie being in front of the camera. And the next one up to do it will, in fact, be Star Wars Starfighter. We bring it up today because we do have ourselves a brand new casting announcement in the form of the potential villain for this movie, who is going to be played none other than by Matt Smith himself. That's right, baby. Fresh off of House of Dragon, fresh off of, you know, we try not to talk about Morbius here too much. There's a couple other projects Matt Smith has certainly been in. He's got a new movie coming out, I think, with him and Austin Butler, if I'm not mistaken. So look forward to that. But Matt Smith, who was originally supposed to be in the Rise of Skywalker movie, apparently as like a young Palpatine, which that unfortunately got cut. Well, I don't know if that's unfortunate or not, but it got cut. Script changed. He ended up not being in the movie whatsoever. But I guess Disney liked what they saw from him and thought, let's save this guy for another opportunity. And now it's here, Stuart. This comes to us from Deadline.com to let us know Star Wars Starfighter, Matt Smith lands villain role in new Lucasfilm pick starring Ryan Gosling. That's right, baby. Casting continues. I think he's the third person to be cast. We had Ryan Gosling first announced. Then we had Mia Goth, who I believe is also potentially playing a villain role in the movie. And now we've got Matt Smith, who also lands a villain role. It looks like everybody's after Ryan Gosling's character or something. But according to Deadline, it says after fighting battles for House Targaryen, Matt Smith is ready to take his next fight to a galaxy far, far away. Sources tell Deadline that the House of Dragon Star is on board to join Ryan Gosling. Mia Goth is also on board, with Sean Levy directing the pick. Jonathan Troper penned the script. The film will shoot this fall and is set to bow on May 28th, 2027. While exact details are vague on who Smith will be playing, sources say it will be one of the villain roles. Casting has been gearing up on the project over the past couple of weeks, with Levy meeting with a number of actors for this key role. Sources say executives made the decision to go with Smith to play the next villain in the Star Wars universe. Details of Starfighter were unveiled back in April at Star Wars Celebration. The film is set to take place 5 years after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Smith is coming off the second season of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. I believe it might currently be filming its third season right now for House of the Dragon. But how are you feeling about this, Stuart? What's your thoughts on Matt Smith in general as an actor? And are you excited for his involvement in here? What do you think about this one?
I freaking love Matt Smith. I mean, he's a great actor. I usually love the characters that he plays, even when he's like playing a villain. Like I absolutely love him as the Doctor. I really look forward to his upcoming movie, Caught Stealing, where he seems to be playing like a full on punk rocker, but also like a criminal. Hard to say. Like I can barely tell what that trailer's about because I haven't like actually watched it all the way through. But yeah, from the clips I've seen of it, it looks pretty cool. And yeah, I look forward to seeing him play a villain. And I'm kind of right there with you. I would say it's more fortunate that he wasn't in Rise of Skywalker. I feel like it would have just been a wasted role because from the sound of it, he would have only been in the movie for like 2 seconds to be like, I'm younger Palpatine. Oh no, I've just been defeated. And it would have been like very towards the very end, like at the climax, we wouldn't have really done much. So I'm glad that instead of wasting his Star Wars appearance as a young Palpatine, we're getting him as, I assume, a completely different character in this upcoming Star Wars movie. Very curious to see what kind of character he's playing. If he's going to be playing like a dark Jedi, a Sith, or if he's going to be like just an Imperial officer, or heck, maybe not even like anything to do with the Empire. He could be like a part of the crime syndicate or something. I don't know. All I know is that like Matt Smith as a villain in the Star Wars universe just feels right. And I can't wait to see how that all plays together. And I can't wait to see him acting, opposite to Ryan Gosling, because I don't think I've ever seen these two together on screen before. So this could lead to some interesting like character chemistry. Oh, you're muted.
I would agree with you in the sense of like, for me, Matt Smith as a villain just sounds so enticing. I feel like he does a villain role so incredibly well. I mean, he already looks like he's somebody that's unpleasant to be around just from facial expressions alone. I'm like, but he seems like he's the nicest guy in the world at the same time. He just seems like he just fits that role of villain perfectly. So I am curious to kind of see what he brings to this role. If anything, I'm just really glad to see that this is actually coming together. If they are in fact planning on having this movie set to begin filming this fall, this is really encouraging for me in the sense that we have finally the next piece of the puzzle here for Star Wars movies. I'm not going to lie. I think my anticipation level is a little bit higher for this movie than it is something like The Mandalorian and Grogu. While I do trust Jon Favreau as a filmmaker, it is interesting to go from 3 seasons of the show to that being sort of the new Star Wars movie that you kind of lead off with. I guess for me, my worry about Mandalorian and Grogu is it going to feel like a TV show on the big screen, or are you really going out of your way to make it feel as cinematic of an experience as possible as you possibly can? And if Jon Favreau can capture that sort of energy and big screen feel, then cool. I hope Mandalorian and Grogu is successful. But this to me feels like Star Wars Starfighter is like the first big Lucasfilm Disney project that they kind of have in store. Looking forward towards the future of Star Wars. And this is really going to kind of set the tone, I feel like, for the other movies that are going to be happening in the future. And so I hope Daisy Ridley's announced as far as a cast member for this, whether she's a supporting role or as a cameo. Again, I think it is very important that going forward, Daisy Ridley has a role in almost every Star Wars movie in some capacity or another. To kind of see her growth as a Jedi, her training as a Jedi, her impact on the universe kind of going forward. You know, what role is she kind of playing? So I do hope that there's a little bit of Daisy Ridley in this movie, but we'll see how it turns out. But this, to me, this feels like we finally have something here, Stuart. Like a movie is finally being put together. I know we worry a lot about the time of like, man, is this movie actually ever going to happen? To me, this feels very much like we're finally at that point of, yes, this is going to happen.
Yeah, I would agree. I've kind of been like that with every Star Wars movie, like for a while now. Anytime a new Star Wars movie gets announced, immediately I'm just kind of like, is it though? Is it actually happening? This is the first time I think we've talked about a upcoming Star Wars movie where I'm actually like pretty confident this is going to actually happen. I hope Disney, do not prove me wrong here. Please do not. I actually think they seem ready to commit to this movie that is actually going to happen. Whether or not it's good or bad, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they at least just make it.
Yeah, I think this movie will be made. I'm starting to have like no doubts about it. I feel like Sean Levy's a competent filmmaker. You got a big name like Ryan Gosling, Mia Goth, an up and coming actress. Well, I don't know if she's up and coming now. I mean, she's had some pretty interesting roles. Maxine, Pearl, X. I'm trying to think of what else I've seen her in recently. And then of course Matt Smith. So I feel really positive and good about the cast that they have put together. I'm just hoping that Sean Levy's script is solid enough and not just mediocre. I hope that I hope this isn't just Adam Project on steroids. You know, like I'm hoping that it feels significantly different from some of his other work that he's previously done. But regardless, I am looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Marcelingo says, please, no Darksider users of any kind or Force wielders. Not every Star Wars project needs Jedi or Sith. Just make this about pilots and nothing else. This does make me wonder, like, what role Matt Smith would even play, and Mia Goth. Are they going to be Force wielders? Are they going to be remnants of the First Order kind of still around? You know, like having their own sectors, still causing chaos in the outer regions or something like that. Like who do these people play? Are they politicians, senators that are corrupt? I really have no idea what direction they're going to be going. Daisy Ridley returning is the only exception I'll take, as long as she has a minor role and it doesn't overtake the movie. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm implying there. But do you think we need Force wielders? Do you think it's I mean, 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, I'm just kind of curious, where do you even go? Like, who would be the villains of that type of movie?
Like, I don't see like it working in a movie like this. I don't see it working with the Force wielders or anything. I think like, and that doesn't mean ignore the fact that it's a fantasy movie. No. Like, I don't mind them acknowledging the Force. I don't even mind, like you guys were saying, like, I would love if we get some Rey in this movie, just a small update of where she's at without her, like, being like a major part of the film. But yeah, I kind of agree in the sense of, if this is a Starfighter movie, it wouldn't really make much sense to involve the Force in a significant part of the movie. I would say just like focus on, the the Starfighters, focus on maybe the politics that where they're currently at in the Star Wars universe, because I very much like we've now had two, even though like the First Order never rose to power the same way the Empire did, they came close. So we've had like we're now at like two like time periods where they face like two imperial like like forces rising to power, and they've stopped them twice now. So where does that put the world? How, like, are they taking extra caution to make sure something doesn't happen? But in doing so, are they becoming the Empire all over again? Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see explored. I don't want them to completely get rid of Jedi. Obviously, I want to see more Jedi in the future, but like not in this kind of movie per se. But and as for if like people would still be interested, I'd say just look at Skeleton Crew, look at Andor. Andor didn't have a single lightsaber. The only force wielding there was from someone who claimed to be close to the Force, which obviously I think she was, but she wasn't even a Jedi. And then Skeleton Crew, yes, technically Jude Law's character was a Jedi, but it wasn't. The Jedi were more like, kind of used to motivate the younger, specifically one of the younger characters in the movie. They weren't like, it wasn't like the movie or the TV show itself relied on the Jedi. So I think that's kind of the direction I would like to see them take, is somewhere between Andor and Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting balance if they can hit between those two types of things, because I would just be kind of curious as to like, where does the threat sort of now come from? Is this going to be an introduction to a whole new bigger threat? Do they shrink the threat? Like, not everything maybe has to necessarily be galaxy changing. Is this like a planetary focus, right? I don't know. I don't know where the threat would certainly come from. So I am fascinated to kind of see what Star Wars is capable of 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, if they will hold back from introducing aspects of the Force. Maybe they're going to hold off on that stuff for the Daisy Ridley movie or the upcoming trilogy Simon Kinberg's kind of working on, to kind of go back to that. But when it comes to your spin-offs or your potential solo Star Wars movies that aren't connected to a bigger episodic aspect of things, if they take more or less the non-Jedi Sith route when it comes to those themes. So we'll see.
Yep.
But let us know your thoughts, guys. Matt Smith joining Star Wars Starfighter, our third casting announcement, as filming is set to begin this upcoming fall. And with that out of the way, guys, let's move on to our next topic. And we're going to get into the world of Highlander, baby. For those of you who don't know, I believe it's Amazon that's going to be working with Chad Stileski as the director from John Wick, is teaming up with Henry Cavill to go ahead and give us a brand new Highlander movie. It's been a minute since we've had a new Highlander movie or even a television series. But this week we got a massive casting announcement as to who's going to be joining the fold, and one that has me really excited to kind of see what the potential of maybe seeing these two stars facing off against each other could potentially be. But according to Deadline, according to them, Dave Bautista is closing a deal for Highlander and even Roadhouse 2 at Amazon MGM Studios. According to this, it says that this is an exclusive. Sources tell us that Dune franchise actors closing in on two Amazon MGM studio movies, Highlander and Roadhouse 2. Bautista will star opposite Henry Cavill in the revival of the 1980s classic Swordsman movie. We are hearing he's playing the Kurgan, that he's playing the Kurgan, a character made famous by Clancy Brown in the original Sean Connery, Christopher Lambert film. Kurgan was an immortal who was a contender for the prize, the power of all the immortals who ever lived. During his life, Kurgan was a bad dude, killing and raping and taking the heads of many immortals. In the original movie, he's a foe to Lambert's Connor McLeod. What? Connor McLeod.
Right? Or Cloud. Oh, never mind.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it was McClan for some reason.
How do you pronounce it, Stuart?
I said I thought it was McClan,
It says
but I could be wrong.
Macleod, McLeod. I'm assuming that's what it is, but who knows?
Yes, it's my own fault
And
for not
then
watching it with subtitles.
Batista joins Roadhouse 2 opposite Jake Gyllenhaal, who's coming back as his UFC fighter Dalton. So yeah, looks like Dave Bautista and Amazon getting rather cozy here. I'm going to be working side by side. I think for me, Stuart, the selling point is Bautista versus Henry Cavill. Like that's it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know anything else about this movie. I love the idea that Dave Bautista is joining this cast. Homeboy's got into really great shape. He seems like he's slimmed down a lot, or at least toned down a lot. But I'm not going to put it past him that this dude is still jacked underneath that nice suit of his. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy can still whip my ass any day of the week. Dave Bautista is getting ready for war here, man. And especially if you're about to be in something like Roadhouse 2, you're getting ready to fight. So I think he's definitely going to be in training mode for quite some time. I can't wait to see what he does with the Highlander movie and Roadhouse 2. I think these are both two perfect casting opportunities, especially for Roadhouse, because I think Dave Bautista is such a, not Roadhouse, but Highlander, because I'm such a big supporter of Dave Bautista and his acting work and what he's been able to do, that I really want to see what he takes, how he takes a role like something like the Krugen, if that's who he's going to be truly playing in the Highlander movie, and does that opposite of somebody like Henry Cavill. I think seeing him in that particular setting as an immortal is a little bit more fascinating for me. To see his character work outside of Roadhouse 2. So for me, I'm really excited about this. When they said Dave Bautista is going to be joining, the only thing I could think of is Dave Bautista facing off against Henry Cavill in a sword battle, and I was just like, yes, please, I need more of this. But I love this casting choice here. What about you, Stuart?
You and me both. Yeah, I think that Clancy Brown did a great job in the original Highlander movie. Like, he was a freaking awesome villain. Man, I you don't see him doing many live action roles as much as he used to. I mean, he was in the recent Penguin TV show and he was great in that. But yeah, now it's like he mostly does a lot of voice acting. Yeah, so now we see him passing the mantle down to Dave Bautista. And I think that, yeah, this is a great choice for I think this is a great choice for the role. I think Dave Bautista is just one of those incredible actors who I think that Hollywood is finally starting to realize does not need to be typecast as a Drax type character. Not that I don't love him as Drax, I do, but it just felt like for a while, like that was the only kind of role he was getting for a bit, until, like, you see movies like Blade Runner 2049, even though it had a very small part in that movie, I feel like that was what really showed that this guy really had a lot of acting chops. And so then I think the movie that really helped him kind of explore that was that M. Night Shyamalan movie. I can't remember what it was called, but it was one that took place in the cabin. And he was like one of the main roles in that movie. But yeah, it's a really cool casting choice. I really look forward to seeing this guy face off against Henry Cavill, seeing the two of them share a screen. And, the marketing, I think, is just kind of perfect. All Amazon needs to do is just advertise Superman versus Drax, and you got something going. You got a way to get fans hyped up for this. Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of fun to see him as the villain in this Highlander movie.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think so too. I think this is going to be really fun. I think this is a great casting choice for Chad Stahelski and his Highlander movie. Yeah, should make for some really great. It's been a minute since I've seen the Highlander movie, but now that I was reminded that Clancy Brown was in it, I might need to check it out again and see exactly what that role is going to be. But yeah, I'm excited. Dave Bautista continues to win me over, and I think he's really smart about the stuff that he's having his agent find for him. I think he's finding really great roles that show his range and what he has the potential of doing. And I think this is just another one of those. So we'll see. This should be a fun one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us know your thoughts about Dave Bautista joining Highlander. And then last but not least, guys, we got one more topic for you guys. And that is going to be in the world of One Piece, baby. That's right. It is that time of the year again. One Piece is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. We wind up getting news today or this week that One Piece has in fact been renewed for a third season. That's right. You heard us correctly. One Piece is returning not only for a second season, but it also is going to be giving us a third season as well. So to me, it sounds like Netflix, for the most part, is really loving what they're seeing so far from this particular world after the incredible season 1 that this series wind up having. There's a lot of positive momentum surrounding this series, so much so that Netflix is like, you know what? We like what we see here. Let's get more of it. This actually comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter. One Piece grabs an early season 3 renewal at Netflix. According to the article here, it says the streamer has given an early season 3 renewal to its live action adaptation of One Piece, announcing the pickup to an annual celebration of Ichiro Oda's long-running manga in Tokyo. The renewal comes several months ahead of the season 2 premiere, which is slated for 2026. That, incidentally, is much sooner than the season 2 renewal for One Piece, which came a couple of weeks after this series premiere in 2023, which I think is really fascinating in and of its own self, Stuart. The fact that, if we remember correctly, season 1 dropped, and it did take them a couple of weeks before they announced a renewal for season 2. So the fact that Netflix is now kind of seeing how season 2 is coming together in post-production, getting an idea of what season 2 is going to be like, they clearly love what they're seeing enough to be earlier this time around to making an announcement for its third season. They also announced that Ian Stokes will join Joe as the co-showrunner on season 3, which is set to begin filming later this year. Stokes wrote 2 episodes and was executive producer on season 1. Former co-showrunner Matt Owens departed the show in March. Along with the renewal announcement, Netflix also released a teaser for season 2 of One Piece. So we do have that for you guys here as well, if you haven't had the opportunity to check that out. Let's see if we can play that as well, Stuart. So this is the first look at season 2, if you guys haven't had the opportunity to see it yet.
Everything I've done, everywhere I go, is for the One Piece.
What is that?
Oh. Wow. Bro. So does season 2 have is that season 2's title? One Piece Into the Grand Line? Are they now titling each season?
It looks like that. Yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry. I still have not watched season 1 of this show. There's a lot of stuff I have not watched yet. But I gotta tell you, Stuart, holy ish, bro. This looks incredible. Like, look, again, as somebody who I've not watched the anime, because heaven forbid, I can't sit through 1,000 episodes. I can't do it. I have not watched season 1, but no, if I'm Netflix executives and you cut this trailer and you show this to me, I'm immediate. Season 3, you got it. Season 3, you got it, bro. The scope, the scale, the production budget, the animation for this looks incredible for me. Almost like they gave them even more money for their second season. Whether it's the big ass whale at the end that we see them on their ship, sailing towards, whether it's the big like giant and the cool like camera angle shots depict how tall these characters are, the beautiful set designs, the special effects for Luffy's like special abilities and stuff. I mean, it looks clean. It looks epic. It looks vast. Like, bro, I can't even wrap my head around what I literally just watched, dude. Like, this really looked incredible to me. This is my first time watching it. It looked like this makes me be like, wants to slap myself across the face. Like, why have you not watched season 1 yet, bro? Like, why have you not watched season 1? I'm so mad at myself right now. But you just saw this first look, Stuart. What did you take away from it? What did you think about it, man?
Looks great. Like, for the exact same reasons that you seem excited for this. That's why I'm excited for it, because you got all that in season 1, but it looks like they really ramped up the production for this one. Like, not that the production was bad in season 1, but this one looks like they like ramped it up even more somehow. I love that this movie doesn't try to do like a grounded approach to the One Piece manga, and instead it just like fully embraces its like cartoonish vibe. It's very I don't know how else to put it. It's just so over the top. It's just something that you normally wouldn't see in like a live action like adaptation, because they tend to try to make things more grounded, more realistic. And I love how this show doesn't bother to do with that. It just wants to have fun. It wants to just celebrate the manga and embrace like everything that comes from it. I love the main actor in this movie, and I'm gonna butcher his name just to warn everyone. I'm so sorry. But I believe it's Inaki Godoy. So I am so sorry if I mispronounced it, but he is incredible as Luffy in the show. And then I'm so disappointed they weren't able to like, just film him for a brief cameo or something, because I loved a lot of the behind the scenes things they did for Cobra Kai season 6. I assume like the studios where they were filming must have been like very close to each other, because we see him hanging out with the crew of Cobra Kai quite a bit. Makes me kind of wish he was just kind of like a background character at some point during Cobra Kai, or he had like a small cameo in some scene somewhere. Yeah, he's so great in the show. He is he's like one of the main things that works about it. And again, like looking at the first look for this, visuals are incredible. They're really embracing the fantasy elements. I mean, you got giants in this, and then of course, they're really embracing the costume designs from the anime. Like you have a dude smoking 2 cigars at the same time. You have a guy who literally uses 3 swords when he fights, putting 1 sword in his mouth when he fights, and you got like the over the top tokusatsu Power Ranger fight scenes, which I always love.
Yeah, this just feels very this makes me feel like I felt when I watched Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time. Like I've never wanted to be a pirate so bad in my life, and like be on some sort of like swashbuckling adventure. Like this just seeing this first look alone, I'm just like, I need to be a part of this world. So I definitely need to go ahead and oops, wrong one. I definitely need to go ahead and catch up on season 1 for sure before checking this out. But it does also, the article did also go on to say season 2 of One Piece is subtitled Into the Grand Line. Netflix describes it as Luffy and the Straw Hats set sail for the extraordinary Grand Line, a legendary stretch of sea where danger and wonder await at every turn. As they journey through this unpredictable realm in search of the world's greatest treasure, they'll encounter bizarre islands and a host of formidable new enemies. Yeah, man, sign me up, Stuart. Let me ask you, as somebody that's watched both One Piece, and did you check out Cowboy Bebop?
Oh, a little bit. I never finished it because I just was not into it.
What do you think is the difference in regards to what has made One Piece more successful? Because you talk about them really diving into the manga, not shying away from the antics of the manga and the anime. Com- how would you compare that to something like Cowboy Bebop? Did Cowboy Bebop do the same thing, but the execution was off? Like, what would you say would be the reason why One Piece is successful compared to maybe why Cowboy Bebop isn't?
I think it comes down to this. Cowboy Bebop as an anime, its style comes from a few things. One of them being like an older movie series called Lupin. He clearly the character from that show was very much what inspired Spike. But it comes from a bunch of other things. It's like it feels very like in terms of its pacing, in terms of like character dynamics. In a lot of ways, it really feels a bit Western in kind of the noir kind of setting, right? And then of course, that's not to say it feels completely like American at all, but there's still a lot of Japanese, of course, within the Cowboy Bebop anime. But there's definitely a little bit of Western influence in there as well, right? So there's a good mixture of several different influences within Cowboy Bebop that makes it the incredible anime that it is. The live action Netflix series seems to want to copy the style of Cowboy Bebop without understanding what inspired that style to begin with. It's kind of like if you were going to make a copy of Star Wars, but you didn't know about the things that inspired Star Wars. You didn't know about Metropolis. You didn't know about Hidden Fortress. You didn't know about any of the many Westerns like Good, Bad, and the Ugly, or there was one specifically. I want to say it was one of the movies from the Dollars trilogy that fully inspired, Han Solo specifically, especially the whole like, shoot first, when someone's got a gun pointed at you. There were just so many things that just went into inspiring Star Wars. So it's like if someone were to adapt Star Wars into its own thing, but like not watch any of the things or not know any about the things that inspired Star Wars, that's kind of similar to what you would get with Cowboy Bebop. It feels like the live action show was really inspired to copy the style of the anime, but it did not understand what inspired the style of the anime. Does that make sense? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, no, that makes
Piece,
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. With One Piece, I feel like, especially because the manga writer helps work on the live action show, I feel like the Netflix show has a much better understanding of the actual source material.
Yeah, that's key because you're right. They do have the actual creator of the show working with them, and then we have read interviews in the past of him talking about collaborating with Netflix and really trying to make sure that his vision stays clear. Like that they allow him to tell his story per se, and some of the disagreements that might happen behind the scenes, but still collaborating and really kind of pushing through to make a show like One Piece be realized. And I think you can see that love of the creator kind of shining through, and Netflix really giving him that opportunity to tell the story that he wants to and how he wants to. I think that's really key too. But yeah, thanks for breaking that down for us.
Yeah.
Frankie says, if ever a person was born to play a role, that I would assume that's the guy that plays Luffy. Is probably what he's trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Marcelino says, if Netflix wants One Piece to continue, then it needs to stop doing every new season every 2 years and go back to yearly. The cast aren't going to stay young forever. Emily Rudd is already 30 years old. It could be one of the reasons why too they renewed it for season 3 quickly. I am kind of curious if they're going to be just filming back to back sort of thing, very similar to that of The Last Airbender.
I'm curious how, because there's no way they're gonna like actually try to like cover the entire. I mean, the manga's not even done, so there's no way they're gonna try to like cover the entire series. So I'm curious, pacing wise, if the show is going to have an ending and what that ending is going to be, and if this would be kind of cool. Actually, I do wonder if the manga creator, if the author knows how he wants to end the series and gives it to the showrunners. So we end up getting like an ending of the we get like kind of an early preview of the ending to the manga within the live action show, or they go the Walking Dead route, which is that even though they know how they're going to end the manga, they don't want to end it the same way in the show, so they give the show a completely different ending than they get in the manga. I'd be very curious to see what direction they go in that area.
I do wonder too if again, because I haven't read any of the manga or seen the anime, I wonder if there is like a story arc or a storyline that they can pick for the 3 seasons and sort of wrap it up in a 3rd season. You know, like while there might be more adventures of Luffy and them, if there's a way like a completion of one story arc comes together nicely enough to where they're like, okay, we'll use this as the ending of the series, since the series is technically still kind of going. Then again, I don't know how the manga or the anime series is kind of broken down story arc wise, or if it's still just one long adventure. Do you know of like any point in the story where they could stop if they wanted to?
That I don't know.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it's like, they wrap up this story arc beautifully, we can leave it at that sort of thing. And if people want more of their adventures, they can go to the anime or manga. But I really don't know what they're going to do there. But we'll see. Frankie says they're also filming Percy Jackson quickly too. The kids are getting big. Yeah. They're getting big really quickly. That's probably why they also renewed season 3 for Percy Jackson relatively quickly too. But yeah, let us know your thoughts, guys, on One Piece. What's your excitement level after checking out the first look? And how do you feel about it getting picked up for a 3rd season so far? Does that mean Netflix is feeling pretty confident about this series? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. Stuart, I may need you to bring up the oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I 100% think they're just really confident with it. But yeah, you need me to bring up live viewer questions?
Yeah, I'm going to try and bring it up on my side too, but just for visually, if you can bring it up on your end.
For sure.
That would be great. All right. And while Stuart does that, I think you guys know what time it is. At least I don't know. Did this thing play? Let me try again.
No, doesn't look like now, everybody, it is time for live viewer questions.
All right, there we go. We got the it's funny, it didn't pop up here on the screen. The live viewer question thing didn't pop up on the screen here, but it did on my phone. So I don't know. I might have played the live viewer question intro twice for all I know. Let's see here. I'm not going to add any background music this week. I might have to have you read these questions off to me, Stuart, because I don't think I can read them.
Cool. All right. So our first question comes from Digi Evolve. Okay, so it's like a Digi Evolve. Got it. Instead of just Digi Evolve. Oh man, I used to love Digimon back in the day. Are popular films becoming oversaturated with sequels? And what are some recent examples of this trend? Do audiences prefer sequels over the original film? Popular films are increasingly saturated with sequels as studios prioritize established properties over original content. Recent examples include Jurassic World Rebirth, Freakier Friday, a continuation of the 2003 Freaky Friday film. This trend is driven by audience preference for familiar stories, which translates to more predictable box office return. With new intellectual property struggling to gain traction in a crowded market, is this reliance on sequel stiffening cinematic innovation? This also applies to revival series. Man, it's definitely like a topic I've always been very mixed on. I feel like every time I kind of answer it, my answer is like always going to slightly change a little bit, like the more I kind of think upon reflection. Because yeah, like on the one hand, I myself am one of the people who will always buy into, not always, I mean, obviously it depends on the movie and the franchise, but I a lot of times do buy into sequels if it is a property that I like, especially when it seems to be, especially depending on what it has going for it. Are they bringing back people from the original? Is it the original writer, director? Is this movie actually being made because the person writing it has something to say, or is it a just studio mandate? I think like a lot of these factors are kind of what go into it, and yeah, with so many of them, it's really hard to tell which ones are actually being made because they want to tell a story, and which ones are just being made because of easy money and no one on the production cares. So yeah, like I do think sequels are oversaturated. I do wish they would put more time and care into coming up with a story before greenlighting it. I do think we can have a world where we still have as many sequels as we do, but we don't like saturate the market. We still allow room for like original films. I think the problem is less about how many saturated sequels we get and more of how much money we put into those saturated sequels. I don't think, for example, every Marvel movie needs to have like a $250 million budget. I think that you can make it so like some movies in the Marvel universe have like their $60 million budget, and therefore the rest of that money, the 140 that would have gone into the rest of the budget of that film, goes into producing more original films, helping up and coming filmmakers get their ideas out there. I think that the problem to me from my current perspective, and I'm sure if you ask me this question tomorrow, my perspective will be completely different, is that they're putting in too much money with the sequels as individual films. I think less money, more quantity of overall films, and then therefore it also adds to the fact that not every movie you make has to be a huge blockbuster hit. You can have your $40 million films that only gross like maybe $200 million in the box office. Like you'll still make your profit back. I think that, if I was a studio executive, that would be something I would want to work on prioritizing.
Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like, because I feel like there are moments when the audience shows you, yes, we want original content, but then there are times too when the audience tells you, no, we want to continue this trend of sequels and remakes, just based off of how many people come out to the movie theaters for remakes and reboots and how much money those films wind up making compared to an original film. To me, it tends to lean to the audience actually doesn't mind it's the sequels and remakes that are happening, because they still go out. Like there's a sense of, I think there's a comfort level, like having your favorite blanket, because of the fact that you're comfortable with these characters, these characters, you're familiar with them. So the idea of having a sequel is perfectly okay, which is probably why a lot of studios lean into it, especially if it's an IP and a franchise that people are really familiar with. But then you have original movies like Sinners, and then you have an original movie like Weapons that do gangbusters in the sense of really gaining attraction, gaining notoriety and attention from audiences and things like that, that may eventually then go on to get a sequel instead of another original movie. I just think original movies right now are like really hard to grab audiences' attention. Like they really have to be original, big swings in order, and be good in order to get people to go out and support them, because there's original movies out in theaters all the time. It's just a matter of whether or not people are going to go out and see it, and 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10 they usually don't, and they're usually okay with the idea of just going out to seeing things that they're familiar with. So I do think a part of it is the audience, but I also would agree that I think studios need to just change. I don't want to say change course, but also come up with another plan to push more original content, because you're eventually going to need that original content to grow and become a franchise that you can then get sequels and reboots out of. We can't get, not everything can be a Fast and the Furious 10, or like a 10th sequel to something, or an 11th sequel, a Toy Story 5, right? Like, eventually you can't get to a Toy Story 10, or at least I don't think we can get to a Toy Story 10, but Disney might try. But eventually you have to get to that point of establishing original IP to then turn that into sequels and remakes and reboots. So I don't know if it's an oversaturation or if it's really just what audiences are demanding right now. But maybe in time something like that'll change. So I don't know. It's a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, audiences speak with their money, and if you're putting out movies that audiences are going to feel comfortable with going to see, yeah, it makes sense. Like in a studio perspective, why studios like Disney love to. I think my problem with it is that there are so few studios now, and with the mergers constantly happening over and like more and more. And so like my only worry is that if we get to a point where it's like suddenly Disney decides, we want to buy out like A24, we want to buy out like these other really small studios too, then that's where it's like now we're coming to a real big problem, because now the people that actually go out of their way to make sure they make original content, they're gone. So then what happens? But yeah, it's like, as of now, I would say that like we still get plenty, like the examples that you've given, I still think we get plenty of original content. I just think it's like the problem is that, yeah, audience speak with their money, and their audiences, like, apart from the ones who are speaking online saying we need more original movies, they're talking with their mouths, but not their money is the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, look, but I guess that is good for studios too, because I mean, I think that's also the purpose of making these big tentpole sequels and reboots of familiar franchises, because you're hoping that people show up to the box office because it's titles that they're comfortable with. They'll spend their money. These movies will make millions, if not billions of dollars. And then as a studio, you're supposed to take that money and then make your original content, right? Take $40 million out of whatever Lilo and Stitch made, or take a couple $100 million out of Lilo and Stitch and make 2 or 3 original movies and see kind of what hits or what doesn't hit. And then go from there in regards to establishing a new kind of franchise. So they all work together in some way, shape, or form, but money-wise, you don't see people spending the type of money for like a Superman or like a Fantastic Four like you would on an original movie. It just doesn't happen. So, like I said, when you say people voice their thoughts with their money, you're absolutely right, Stuart. People still go out to these sequels and things like that. So,
yeah,
Hollywood will continue to make them.
I think this is a perfect example. I don't know a single person that's talked about the live action Lilo and Stitch remake in a positive light, and yet it's gotten $1 billion. So clearly it's got an audience.
Yeah, it's got an audience. What's next?
Next one is from Marcelino. It's time to talk about Invincible's animation. Ever since the beginning, Invincible's animation has been the laughing stick, since the animation itself looks a bit cheap. Some scenes look like it's just a PNG being dragged across. Some models are missing certain details like fingernails, wrinkles, etc. They reuse Debbie's model for a random Indian woman, and all they changed was the skin color, among many other things. Some say that the animation is just average, in that they rather have mediocre animation so long as the story is great, and it means that they get new seasons every year, while others say they can't look past they can't look past the past, and that they need great animation to complement a good storytelling. Where do we stand? Do you want to take this one first? Oh, I think you're muted. Wait, are you frozen? Did I lose you? Ah. Okay. I will give my thoughts on it then first. Okay, so yes, for me personally, and this is because I myself am not like, a big animation expert at all. I just I'm the kind of guy, if you ask me to write an essay on an animation of something, it's going to be the most childish thing. It's going to be like, I thought animation was cool. I really liked that time he punched that other guy. Because I don't know enough about animation to really give it a really like fair critical analysis. So all I can say is that in my personal point of view, yes, I can tell that the Invincible animation is extremely cheap. I never blame animators though when it comes to that kind of stuff, because I do think that when you have a profession and you know what you're doing, everyone in that profession usually knows how to do a good job when they have the right resources. I think that, Invincible's animation being cheap is all because of, understaffing from Amazon. From what I hear, the amount of people that work on a 15-minute SpongeBob episode are the amount of people that you got working on a 40-minute episode of Invincible, which, even me not knowing much about animation, I can tell you, well, it's no wonder that the animation looks cheap because of that. But what I can say is that it doesn't ruin the story for me personally. I still really enjoy watching Invincible. The cheapness of the animation has never stopped my enjoyment of it, mostly because at the very least, they're smart about when to utilize like good animation, because yes, while it looks cheap, they do have moments of really awesome action, really great animation in terms of that. And I think because they utilize it when it needs to be utilized, that's one thing of why it works. Oh, 1 sec. And cool.
Hey, can you get me?
Hey.
You hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm trying to log back in on StreamYard on my computer, but I forgot I still had my this guy, my cell phone up and running. Can you hear me okay though?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, cool.
Just finished giving my thoughts on the Invincible animation. Do you have any?
I guess I never paid that much attention to the animation style. I mean, I always thought it looked relatively clean. I guess I never realized the lack of maybe detail that it had in regards to it. But I always found it pretty clean. But then again, I've only seen the first season. I haven't really watched the following seasons or anything like that to have a real opinion on it. But it always looked kind of clean to me.
Yeah.
Did you have any issues with it?
For me personally, no, but I was saying because I'm not like the biggest animation expert, but I can also tell that it is not the most expensive animated project, which is why I was like mentioning that, like, I can totally see why other people are totally thrown off by it.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't really had an issue, but I mean, I guess I can understand that. You want when it comes to animation, I mean, I feel like feels almost a little bit ripped right out of the comic books, but I can understand if people have issues with it. What's the next question?
Next one, also from Marcelino. The Ant-Man franchise is in question. Michael Douglas and Evelyn Lilly have retired. Quantumania bombed. Catherine Newton and Casey Lang is up in the air. Paul Rudd is the only one returning, and Michael Piffner is most likely not returning.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer. My bad. Not Michael. Sorry, Michelle Pfeiffer. Since she is heavily tied to Hank and Hope than Scott. This begs the question, where does the Ant-Man franchise go afterwards? Many people theorize that Secret Wars will reboot the Ant-Man franchise and have Hank and Janet be the main Ant-Man and Wasp as the prime ones with new actors. Honestly, I could kind of see that. One thing I always thought was weird in the first Ant-Man movie, because one thing I would have done personally if it were me is I would have done what they did with Howard Stark, how there's two different actors for Howard Stark. You have the older Howard Stark, I can't remember either actor's name, but then you also have the World War II era Howard Stark, who was in Agent Carter and in the first Captain America movie. I would have done that with Hank. I would have, instead of having a CG young Michael Douglas in that opening of the first Ant-Man movie, I would have just casted a completely different actor to play the character, and then maybe, just to make sure audiences knew this was supposed to be Hank, maybe have him dubbed over by Michael Douglas, but I would have still kept him as a separate actor just in case I ever wanted to go back and utilize him in a future Marvel movie. In case I wanted to do more Ant-Man movies that took place in the 90s or something like that. That's where I personally would take the franchise if it were me. Where Marvel is going to take it, I don't know. The reboot seems likely because it sounds like they might actually be rebooting the MCU after Secret Wars, but hard to say.
I don't know if I need another Ant-Man movie. I'm cool with Paul Rudd just popping up as cameos and other things. We got a trilogy out of Ant-Man. It's unfortunate that it ended on the with Quantumania the way that it certainly did. But if we're talking about rebooting the MCU, I don't know if I give Ant-Man another movie, to be quite honest with you. I think I keep him as part of an ensemble cast. So that's just me. 3 Ant-Man movies, I'm good. I didn't care for the second one. The third one underwhelmed me. The first one is a classic to me, but outside of that, I don't need them to revisit that in the future. But that's just me, Stuart.
Yeah. And then here we go. When it comes to Supergirl season 3, it was the first season that people would call good, but still had some problems and missed potential. After doing some research, I found several scrapped ideas and plot lines that would have helped explain things. Now, first, I want to say that some of this has been confirmed by the writers and some is based on theories, but given the context, it would make sense why people would come to these conclusions. Plus, even if it's all fake, I find this to be way better than what we actually ended up with. Lena would eventually turn bad by doing one bad thing at a time, hence her rivalry with Morgan Edge. Odette, Odette, Annabelle, with Sign. Who is that again? Odette. Oh, I'm sorry. Odette.
Yeah, Odette Annabelle, I believe. I think she's the one that played Rain in season. Was that season 3?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about her character. That's why. Odette. Okay, yeah. She signed on as a series regular for one season as a main villain. Oh wow, it says literally, if I kept reading, Samantha/Rain. And so it would make sense for her to die, making Ruby and Orphan, and then being adopted by Alex. Alex and Maggie were never supposed to break up, but Florina Lima left because she booked a main role on The Punisher season 2 as Krista Dunstan, and for another reason that we'll get back to later. And finally, Kara had dreams of her mom turning into a monster and the world killers, with the third one being Silhout. Sorry.
I don't know. Silhouette? I don't know.
Silhouette,
I can't read it.
being silhouetted. Silhouetted, since her identity wasn't revealed yet. When the third world killer was revealed, and that Kryptonian witches were the puppet masters behind everything, both were underwhelming, since World Killer 3 was a generic and boring, and some felt Kryptonian witches were unnecessary. Supposedly, the original plan was going to have World Killer, and that her mom was going to take the place of the Kryptonian witches and manipulate everything behind the scenes, thus would have explained Kara's dreams. While some of this may have been fake, One thing that is objectively true for why some of this didn't happen is Andrew Christenberg. Andrew Christenberg was one of the original producers and is responsible for some of the best moments in the Arrowverse, but he was a creepy sex offender. He would often give women bad writing materials to make their female characters unlikable by fans and get harassed if they refuse his sexual advances. Emily Bett Richards refused his advances, and supposedly he was directly responsible for making Felicity unlikable. Florina Lima was one of the victims and left Supergirl because she didn't want to deal with that environment. And I don't know why Andrew Kissenberg was. And I don't know why once Andrew Kissenberg was removed, a lot of his plans were overall either because the writers wanted to tell their own thing and they wanted to ensure he wouldn't get credited. What are your thoughts? Honestly, I think making sure he doesn't get credited was probably the main reason they scrapped his ideas, if that were the case. I totally forgot that he was a producer on Supergirl as well. I know that he was one of the producers. If not, wasn't he like the showrunner on the first 2 seasons of The Flash before they fired him?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, why do predators have to actually be kind of smart? Some are good writers sometimes. It's like that joke in the studio. What can I say? Perverts just make really good movies.
So from first-hand experience, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, some of these ideas, I'm curious if it would have. It definitely feels like it would have added more to like what they were building up to. I was not really a fan of the way Maggie Sawyer and Alex just kind of like ended things and it felt out of nowhere. So kind of hearing this behind the scenes stuff, it would make sense if that was the reason for that happening. Because I do think that they had great chemistry. I think that like them adopting a kid would have actually been kind of the perfect kind of in between for the two of them. And I know they kind of went back to that later on when Alex started dating what was her name? Olsen, something Olsen.
I can't remember her name. It was Olsen's sister.
But Jimmy Olsen's sister. When she started dating her, and they ended up adopting at the end. Like I think that was that would make sense because that was the direction the show went into later. But it would have been interesting if they had done that earlier on, and then you had basically a kid kind of Kelly Olsen, that was her name. Thank you, Marcelino. And so you had like them raising this kid, during the course of the show rather than doing it only during the final season and then having her really be more of a plot device than anything else.
Yeah, I really wish they would have gone that route too. I really thought that that's what they were going to do, but unfortunately it wasn't. But yeah, I missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Next one is my friends call me Joseph, but it's not letting me expand. So I'm going to try refreshing this real quick. There we go. Spider-Man's Brand New Day is set to continue Tom Holland's story with a release date in July 2026 and Destin Daniel Cretton attached as director following the climactic ending of No Way Home, which saw Peter Parker's existence erased from the world's memory. This new film is poised to deliver a fresh start for the character. The title itself is a direct nod to a similar comic book storyline, and the film is rumored to feature more street-level focus with the addition of returning Marvel characters like the Punisher, played by John Bernthal, and Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner / the Hulk, and the introduction of Sadie Sink in an unconfirmed role, which some are now saying is going to be Gwen Stacy. Some fans were hesitant about a continuation after No Way Home provided a perfect reset. fearing the new film might retrend old ground or become too entangled with the wider MCU again. But the new direction and prospects of Tom Holland being the first live action Spider-Man actor to lead a fourth solo film have generated significant excitement. With Tom Holland's Spider now a blank slate, what new villains and direction do you hope to see him face in this new chapter? For me, it's I do look forward to seeing maybe not in big roles, but I do want to see more known ground level villains like within this new world, seeing what he's up to, like now that he's not really with the Avengers as much anymore, because I know we got Scorpion coming back. And then the other thing too is I really like to see him trying to reach out to other people for help, but like other people turning him down because they don't know him. So him having to kind of regain their trust all over again. I think like those are some story potentials that you could definitely have.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated with this new fresh slate. You already mentioned Scorpion. I believe I was going to say Kingpin off the top of my head, but I know that Vincent D'Onofrio has mentioned that apparently Kingpin can't show up in Spider-Man movies. So I am curious as to what direction they go next. There are a couple of things, like if we stick with the street level side of things, I would like to see like Hammerhead along with his goons and his henchmen. Maybe not like as a lead villain, but like just as like a side villain would be interesting to watch. Tombstone, I think, would be interesting, especially based off of just what we got from the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man television series. I am curious if he'll play a role in this movie or future movies. I don't know if I need like another Doc Ock or anything like that, or another Green Goblin. I personally would love to see like a Hobgoblin story if they wanted to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still big on the idea of them using Ned as the Hobgoblin if they wanted to, considering the fact that he doesn't have a relationship with Peter anymore in this sort of quote unquote fresh slate. So I wouldn't mind them maybe doing something along those lines. And heck, I'll even throw out the Jackal. In case they ever wanted to go the route of trying to tease something like a clone saga or something like that down the line, getting us a Ben Reilly somewhere along those lines. But I just think it's a really great opportunity now for them to have fun with it. Something like having, if the director Destin Daniel Cretton can really knock this one out of the park and have his own dynamic vision for this Spider-Man, I think they could do some really fun things when it comes to this next group of trilogy, because I do expect them to do an entire new trilogy here. But yeah, the potential is pretty awesome, honestly. And if anything, I do want to see more or less like the college route of things for him now. I want to see like a new cast of supporting characters introduced, whether that, I think we got introduced to Betty Brant already in the previous ones. I don't think that they've dabbled into a Gwen Stacy as of yet, but yeah, Gwen coming along would be interesting. I have heard she is rumored to be played by Sadie Sink, although we've heard Sadie Sink rumored to play a bunch of other people too. But yeah, the introduction to Gwen would be pretty cool. But those would be some of the villains I would like to kind of see explored.
I would, man, if they bring in Ben Reilly, if they really want some, if they really want to bring in like a whole new set of fans, bring in the Severance crowd, they could totally have Adam Scott playing Ben Reilly, which would, fit because he played Ben Parker in Madam Web. And so like have Adam Scott playing like Ben Reilly and having like all these fake memories of him always being Spider-Man. I think he would do really good as that, as someone with like kind of an identity crisis, because that's kind of what he does in Severance. So just have him do in a very similar kind of fashion that, but like as Ben Reilly.
What else we got?
All right, Peg C, I'm going to butcher this name, in Hayakuju Sentai, Gao Ranger versus Super Sentai. The Gao Rangers faced off, the Gao Rangers face a powerful new orc, Raku Rakushesa, who drains their fighting spirit. A mysterious monk reveals the existence of past Sentai scenes, and the Gal Rangers encounter 5 veteran rangers to teach them about the hardship and dedication required to be a Super Sentai hero. The movie celebrates the 25th anniversary of the Super Sentai series by featuring past Sentai heroes, revisiting iconic moments. This movie, revisiting my comic movies. This movie would be the inspiration for Power Rangers Wild Force episode Forever Red. Here's more details to break down the thread. Gal Rangers, while battling Yabai, the two encounter. Sorry, I'm butchering a lot of these words. I apologize. Encounter the powerful lost highness Duke Raku Shasa, who can steal the fighting spirits from his opponents. The Gal Ranger struggle. Raku Shasa lends his power to Yababa and Tsu, easily defeating Gal Rangers and draining their fighting spirits, draining the fighting spirits of the 4 of them.
What language are you speaking?
I'm trying to speak English, believe it or not. Encountering the past, the remaining Gal Rangers encounter mysterious monk who tells them about the legacy Rangers from the teams, learning from the best. The Gal Rangers, G-Phones leads them to 5 veteran Rangers, different Sentai teams who teach them about the direction, the dedication and challenges of being a superhero. The big fight, the Gal Rangers, now with newfound knowledge, team up with veteran Rangers to face the Rakusasha and the Orc Dukes. Celebration and legacy. The movie culminates in a powerful battle where Gal Rangers, empowered by the spirit of past Sentai teams, defeats Rakushaka, showcasing the rich history and enduring legacy of Super Sentai franchise. Do you think Saban should have adapted this storyline instead of what we got with Forever Red? I mean, I think it was a cool storyline, but I guess I would have to watch it first, because from what you're pitching me, this sounds cool, but I love Forever Red way too much to say to want to live in a world where we never got that. It is just such a perfect for what it is. That is, like, obviously there are plenty of issues with it if you break it all down, but for what it was, for what they were given, and for what it ended up turning out to be, Forever Red's too good of a movie for me to say I want to exist in a universe where it wasn't made.
Yeah, Forever Red for me.
Yeah. Okay, what are your thoughts on possible plans for a Mortal Kombat 3 movie and spin-offs contingent on the success of the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 film? Producer Todd Garner stated that the creative team has long-term plans for the franchise and hopes Mortal Kombat 2 is not the end. Here's a breakdown of the situation. Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel, is scheduled for October 24th, 2025. Mortal Kombat 3, whether or not a third movie is made depends on how Mortal Kombat 2 performs in the box office with audience, according to producer of the series. Spin-offs. Garner has also indicated that spin-off movies are a possibility, potentially exploring different characters and storylines from the Mortal Kombat universe, according to producer Todd Garner. Spider-Verse spin-offs. Oh, like for example, like Spider-Man's Spider-Verse spin-offs. What are your thoughts? No, that's a third question. Sorry. In terms of the Mortal Kombat franchise, yeah, I'm kind of with the producer, I guess, because the first movie, while looked really great, like I love visually how it looked, I just think the writing was so bad and uncreative for the kind of universe that they had. I've gone on rants about this before, but I hated how everyone's unique ability was one specific thing. Like, this tattoo gives you a very weird specific power rather than having people's power be based on their backstory. I think it's so dumb how Rex or something like that. The guy with the robot arms. His whole thing is he loses his arms and then gets puny robot arms that he can barely use. But then his power just happened to be that he grows robot arms. Did the tattoo just predict the fact that he was going to lose his arms in the future? Like, that is just the dumbest freaking thing. And that's what they're like with all the powers and ability sets. And that's what made me dislike the Jax. That's what it was Jax, was his name. But yeah, that's what made me hate the writing in the first Mortal Kombat movie. Is just they went with the most boring way to give people powers like ever. And it's just like, yeah, that was the most dumbest, boring thing that you could have come up with. So yeah, I look forward to Mortal Kombat 2. I think the action, as long as they keep the action, the costume designs from the first movie, but they're a lot more creative with the story, I think we're in for a good sequel. And yeah, I hope, you know, if it's good, I'm not opposed to some spin-offs and some other sequels after that, but we'll take it one movie at a time.
Yeah, I would agree. One movie at a time. Yeah, after the debacle that was Mortal Kombat 1, I'm surprised we got ourselves a sequel. But with this being released in the movies, the idea that they have somebody like a Carl Urban to help navigate the script and the cast for a widescreen release, I think that certainly benefits the potential for Mortal Kombat 2 compared to the first one. So yeah, if the second one does gangbusters and has a positive reception, I'm open to more spin-offs or a potential sequel for sure. I mean, who knows? Maybe Carl Urban wants to do a Johnny Cage spin-off movie specific for him. Maybe like a really cheesy action film that they kind of tease in some of the Mortal Kombat 2 teasers so far. Like maybe those Johnny Cage movies they promoted actually gets a spin-off film.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's a lot of routes that can go, but it's really going to be dependent on the success of Mortal Kombat 2.
Agreed. That would be funny if they
Uncaged Fury becomes a real movie.
Yeah, that would be funny as hell. And then lastly, we already kind of talked about it, but my overall thoughts is I'm looking forward to this. But Spider-Verse spinoff, Spider-Punk in the works. What are your thoughts? Do you think Sony should expand the Spider-Verse with possible Scarlet Spider-Man as well? And my answer is just kind of same with the last one. Is just I want to see how Spider Noir and Spider Punk do before I see Sony announce any more spinoff movies. I want those two to come out first because yeah, this is the first time we're really exploring like different types of Spider-Man in their own solo adventures. So let's see how those are doing before I have like a full opinion on other spinoffs. What about you?
Yeah, I thought I heard that they were supposed to be doing a Spider-Woman animated movie, whether that be Gwen Stacy's Spider Ghost or Spider-Woman, whatever they want to call her. I thought they were supposed to do Silk at one point in time, but I think they might have pulled back on that. So I'm open to more spin-offs for characters that make sense, like a Spider-Man 2099 might work if they ever wanted to do something like that. The Spider-Woman one with Gwen Stacy I think would certainly work. I'm just trying to think. We already got Spider Noir, we got Spider Punk, and I feel like out of the universe, the Spider-Verse, those are probably like the 3 or 4 characters that really are prominent or stand out. So I think they probably got them covered if that's the route they want to go. But we'll see what Spider-Punk does.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury course corrections. And this question, although I don't think this is a question, it sounds like it's more of a statement from AJ, the Morphin Grid. These 2 seasons made significant efforts to address narrative inconsistencies from the 2014 season Super Mega Force, formerly helmed by Jonathan Sacker. The Dino Fury episode Morphin Master provided a much needed explanation for the origins of the legendary Power Ranger keys and the legendary battle. The Green Morphin Master was revealed to be the one who restored the powers of past Ranger teams via Ranger keys and brought them to Earth, including SPD Rangers from the future and RPM Rangers from a different dimension, offering in-universe solutions that solidified these events within the larger Power Rangers lore. This meant Gosei and Mega Force's team members was completely unaware of the Ranger keys, only their presence, OG, being connected to all past Power Rangers due to being dormant. Additionally, unexpected guests, the Rangers were visited by Mechanic from Power Rangers Ninja Steel, who revealed he had encountered 40 other Rangers other teams and an indirect nod to the unexplained new powers from Super Megaforce. Mick also provided the Rangers with legendary database, offering a logical explanation for how they could access previous teams' powers. I look at the explanation they gave in Dino Fury the same way I look at the clip from The Simpsons where it was the actress that played Xena from Xena Warrior Princess at a convention. Someone asks her, "Oh, in episode 4, I see that you take down 3 henchmen, saying that your mission is complete, even though there were supposed to be 4." And Xena's response was, "Anytime you notice something like that, a wizard did it." And basically, that's the joke. It's like anytime you notice a continuity error, a wizard did it. That's my thoughts on what they did in that episode of Dino Fury, where they course correct on all the plot holes and continuity errors in Power Rangers. It was almost like it was the writers of the show just like straight up saying, anytime you notice a continuity error, the Morphin Masters did it. So yeah, I thought it was funny, but it felt like very much a I don't know, a cheat code for the writers, basically, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry, you need to be added back in. My bad. There we go.
No, you're good.
But yeah, did you hear the question?
Was there a question? I thought it was just a statement.
That's true. It was just a statement. But
what's the second half of that? What's the second half of that?
Similarly, Cosmic Fury addressed the jarring timeline conflict of the SPD Power Rangers, whose futuristic setting in the year 2025 clashed with the 2014 Legendary Battle. The season established that the what are they called again? The Rafconian, I think, race, after their planet's destruction by Lord Zed, found refuge in New Tech City, the same city where SPD headquarters would be located. This plot created a rightful backstory to the city's future and hub for both humans and alien life, organically setting the stage for the world of Power Rangers SPD. Unlike Super Mega Force's nonsensical inclusion of SPD Rangers, this deliberate narrative choice shows clear effort to create a more cohesive and interconnected Power Rangers universe. Do you think that the creative team's approach, retroactively fitting these plot holes under the leadership of Simon Bennett, managed to course correct these issues from Super Mega Force and was successful in improving the overall continuity and satisfying longtime fans? I would say yes. I would say honestly, more than anything, just the fact that we had a showrunner that addressed these small kind of plot holes throughout Power Rangers when he could have easily ignored them the same way any other showrunner would have done. It just made me appreciate him as a showrunner more than anything else. It was definitely a really silly and rushed explanation in terms of the whole Morphin Masters aspect of it, but in terms of what he did with SPD, I thought that was incredibly cool. And again, it was something he didn't have to do, but they did anyways. They went out of their way to address small continuity errors here and there, and I like that. The fact that they put that much effort into a show that most people dismiss as a toy commercial and nothing more.
Yeah, and I think it to me too, it just shows that Simon Bennett did his best to try and listen to fans. I mean, you can't appease the fans all the time, but knowing that those were some lingering plot holes or things that needed to be addressed a little bit, the fact that he went out of his way to leave Easter eggs or plant storyline details in there to kind of connect the gaps and stuff, just really shows the amount of effort. I mean, with Simon Bennett, perfect in bringing Power Rangers to life? Maybe not, but I think he did a hell of a job in regards to the seasons that he did handle, in regards to doing his best to properly fill in some of those plot holes. So yeah, I think he went above and beyond what he was asked to do, honestly, if you ask me.
Definitely. I think one of the funniest things too, sorry, slight off tangent, but I loved like his interaction with fans on Twitter every now and then, because there was one oh god, I'm blanking on the names. I've been blanking on a lot of things today. But the dinosaur from Dino Fury, the one that was like the mentor of the team, I totally forgot her name. Solon, thank you. Someone commented on a photo of Solon going, wait, Solon's a girl? Why doesn't she have boobs? And then Simon Bennett could have just, if I were Simon Bennett, I would have even replied to that, keep in mind. But Simon Bennett replied in the best way, saying, Solon's not a mammal. And I'm just like, that's the best reply you could have given. Holy shit.
Yeah, for real.
Next question comes from Blossom. Remember when someone did an when someone did an animated version of MMPR? You think they'll pull off an animated Power Rangers series? Personally, it's pretty cool, but I take it with a grain of salt. I think it could happen. I think it's going to depend on the success of the Disney Plus series when that comes out. I think if enough people are watching it, the more Disney's going to want to expand on that, and that will probably mean through animation, because it is something that I know a lot of fans have been like asking for a while. I feel like it gives them more flexibility to not only have more upscale battles, but you're allowed to do. When it's a show aimed at kids, you're allowed to do more with animation than you are with live action. So I feel like you can still have a young audience as the target, but be able to tell more mature stories. I feel like it could be more in line with the Boom Studios comic books.
Why we haven't gotten a Power Ranger animated series after all these years, I will never understand. I feel like this is like the simplest, most layup freaking thing you could possibly do if you have the IP for Power Rangers. Like, why the idea of an anthology series or even a long-running, ongoing Power Ranger series hasn't even been pitched? Or, I mean, maybe there was an idea at some point in time, but before everything went to crap over at Hasbro. But if I'm Hasbro and I'm putting a lot of money behind this live action thing, if anything, one, I'm going to wait to see how the live action goes before I decide to do anything animated wise. If for some reason it's not gaining the traction that it has, I'm going to be using the animated side of things as sort of like break in case of emergency, in the sense of like, man, we tried the live action thing. That didn't work, but we also don't want to give up this property yet to anybody else. How else can we use the Power Ranger property? How about animation? Because I just feel like it's just so incredibly easy to do, in the sense of you've got a bunch of storylines at your fingertips. If you wanted to adapt anything from Boom Studios, even if you wanted to do all original content, the fact that you're in the median of animation allows there to really be like, nothing's off the table in regards to, if you can imagine it, you can put it to pen and paper, then go ahead and execute it. So the fact that we haven't gotten one yet is more mind-boggling to me. But yeah, I did see that animation. The animation looked great. Makes me eager for one in the future. I don't believe that there's plans for it as of right now, but Hasbro should not give up the rights for Power Rangers unless they've exhausted all options, including even an animated series. Even if this live action does or doesn't work, you got to pull the trigger, man. You got to do it.
Definitely. And then the next question is, what do you think the theme is going to be for the next Super Sentai? And do you think they'll make the villain inspired by Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers? Just curious,
Yeah, I doubt it. I definitely doubt it. I don't know what is the theme now? I don't even know what's the theme now.
Actually, yeah, I haven't been keeping up with Sentai since.
I think it's like another anniversary season that they're celebrating. So they're doing a lot of like using a lot of past costumes and stuff. But I don't know, man. I haven't watched Super Sentai in like 2 seasons. I think Don Brothers was the last one that I watched, not even to completion. I have not been keeping up with Super Sentai, so I don't even know what to tell you. Let's go back to post-apocalyptic world. I'll take one of those. Have we just had a race car. We just had a car one, or at least a vehicle one recently, so we can't do that. I'm telling you, man. Let's get to virtual reality. Let's
yeah.
let's do some virtual reality. Whether or not you want to bring back the Metal Heroes sort of style costumes or whatever the case may be, but I wouldn't mind something virtual reality again.
Yeah,
I
can
know
see
it's not
them.
Super Sentai based, but it is Tokusatsu based, and the Metal Hero series stuff. But yeah, why not? If Super Sentai wants to like take some of its inspirations recently from like Kamen Rider, it almost feels like Kamen Rider. And well, I haven't really watched Kamen Rider lately, but it does feel like Super Sentai has adapted some of its stuff from like Kamen Rider, some of the themes or at least costume designs. But I would still like virtual reality at some point in time. I'm gonna keep singing that to the end of my grave, considering the time period that we in. I just think virtual reality is like prime for the making.
Yeah. I still want my kaiju themed Power Rangers
Ooh.
but I mean, obviously they'd have to pay a huge hefty license fee to Toho for that. So I don't think it would ever happen, but it would be so cool. Like, Godzilla is the Red Ranger, and then maybe the Sixth Ranger could be the Ghidorah, like Ghidorah, that kind of stuff. The swords would all be based on, kaiju monsters. Yeah. But as for the villains, I'm not sure Mr. Burns and Mr. Smithers, but given how a lot of other countries kind of see us at the moment, honestly, I wouldn't blame them if they wanted to have the villains based on Donald Trump and JD Vance. That's kind of a similar dynamic.
Yeah, or like over like a corporate overlord and his like secretary or something like that. I mean, yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah, especially if they go the South Park direction. Hey, come on, guy, relax. Next one is from Marky Parco Jr. What do you think of Michael Jackson's legacy, considering his contribution to music and controversies that surrounded him? Do you believe his physical changes, including those related to his sorry, I always forget how that's pronounced. Vitiligo, or sorry, what was it called again? The illness he had.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Vitiligo.
That's all right.
And plastic surgeries influence the public perception and the accusations against him. Do you think his upcoming biopic, Michael, starring Jafar Jackson, will address these controversies in a balanced way, or do you think the film will primarily focus on his musical achievements and downplay the allegations? I think it's going to depend on how much the person writing this movie knew Michael Jackson as a person. I think if they knew him personally, they would probably address the allegations only to say that they are all false. If it's someone who didn't know Michael Jackson personally, but knew of the allegations, did a lot of the research while writing it, I would assume they're probably going to downplay it. Like, it may not even come up in the film at all. And only because, like, it was, as far as I know, please correct me if I am wrong on any of what I'm about to say. As far as I know, it was never 100% confirmed if those allegations were correct. And the big thing that stopped it from, the big thing that sways a lot of people in the perception of it being not true is the fact that the record company that he worked for was extremely scummy. And I have zero doubt that if Michael Jackson was innocent, they are the type of people that would totally basically have a lot of other people lie to make him look bad in order, just because out of pettiness, because he left their company. Not saying they did that. I'm saying if they did that, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, it has not been confirmed as of now whether or not Michael Jackson is actually guilty of like those accusations. But please, comments and Adam, if either of you guys know, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I might need somebody to do a Google search on that. I'm not too sure myself. I'm under the impression that they were allegations. I'm sure that there was probably a court case, but I don't know if they got dismissed or settled in court. But I don't think he was ever convicted of anything outside of the allegations. I might have to look it up, but I have a feeling that they'll underplay it when it comes to the movie. If anything, I wouldn't surprise me if they bring them up, but leave the court cases kind of open ended for people to make their own judgment or to look up whatnot. But I have a feeling that they may be mentioned or brought up, but not really the main focus of his life when it comes to the movie. I do like this question because I feel like this past week, I feel like this question has been asked a lot because I saw somebody on TikTok ask or make a bold statement that they believe Beyonce was bigger than Michael Jackson at this point in their career, which got a lot of people like pretty pissed off, or at least like stitching their own response to this guy, which is pretty funny. But look, Michael Jackson is huge. I literally was prepping today's show, and I was listening last night to Remember the Time, and I was singing along to it. I'm just like, damn, this song just hits. I mean, I don't, it's one of those, he's just, I think like 40, 50 years from now, we'll still be listening to Michael Jackson music, bro. Like his music is just incredibly timeless. And I don't know if anybody has had the life that he's had from just being famous since you were a kid. Like since you were a kid. And yes, while it was part of the group, you were like the face of the group. From being a kid to your teenage years to your first solo album to the day you freaking died. Like, I mean, I don't know if anybody could have that type of notoriety or be that famous or that popular. And this is me not downplaying Beyonce. Beyonce is huge. I don't want to lift up Michael Jackson and put Beyonce down, but I just don't know. Like unless you lived in the 80s and the 90s to be around to experience what it was like to be Michael Jackson in a time even prior to social media where your content had to be like viewed in other ways. Like in today's day and age where content is so accessible and you still can't sell the amount of albums that this guy sold before social media was even a thing is like crazy to me. Like the fact that his stuff was literally like word of mouth, or like you literally had to watch it on like national television to understand it. Like what this guy did for like MTV at the time and just music in general. Like no offense to Beyonce, but like I don't know anybody that's waiting around the TV on a Friday night prime time to watch a new music video from Beyonce. Like if Beyonce made an announcement, new Beyonce music video dropping Friday night, I bet you she still wouldn't get the same numbers Michael Jackson got 20 years ago from like a Remember the Time premiere or like a black and white video music premiere. So it's, she's famous in her own right, but I don't know if anybody is touching the stardom that was Michael Jackson. Another artist name that I would even put out there that I don't know if people are even putting in the same category as Beyonce or Michael Jackson. I would even say Eminem at this point might be one of the other few artists that are even in that same category of artists that are that big, that could literally sell out stadiums and like not even arenas, but like international stadiums and stuff. I think there are very few people that can do that, but I still think Michael Jackson is just on an echelon, like all on his own, man. Like just what he was able to do in a time period before social media. I don't think anybody's coming close, bro. But that's just, I can talk about Michael Jackson all day. I grew up on Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, just from a musical pop star performance wise, Yeah, nobody's touching this dude at all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Last question. Actually, it kind of makes me think. I'm pretty sure. I'm calling it now. This movie's going to break $1 billion. I'm almost willing to if someone were to ask me if I wanted to put money on it, I would actually probably say I'd put like a month's paycheck on or a month's worth of my paychecks that this movie is going to break $1 billion. I'd say I'm that confident about it.
What movie?
The Jackson movie, Michael.
Oh, you think so, huh?
I think it's going to break $1 billion.
What can you look this up real quick? What did Bohemian Rhapsody do?
Oh, let's find out.
That has me.
Oh, so close. It was 904.
Yeah, you know what, man? Let me see. If the movie is good, yes. I think I would agree with you. I think just because of who Michael Jackson is, yeah, I would agree with you. What does it have the breakdown of what Bohemian Rhapsody did from domestic to global? Because my thing is Michael Jackson is like an international superstar. I have a feeling like his music or his movie alone, if it's good, I think we'll be able to reach millions of people too worldwide.
Domestic was 216, international was 687.
Oh yeah, see, yeah. Book it now, Stuart. I would agree with you. I think that movie makes $1 billion.
Yeah. All right, last question comes from Jessica Fryman. At least I think it's the last question. I'll refresh it once I'm done just to make sure. But this is for Stuart. Have you seen the King of the Hill revival, and what are your thoughts on it? Thank you so much for asking that, because yes, I have, and I freaking love it. I think that it is not only a perfect continuation of the series. I honestly think this would be a great way to introduce someone in the into the King of the Hill world. I think this new show is actually a good introduction. I think that I love how much both Hank has changed, but it's also stayed the exact same. I think the plot line, it was so weird. It sounded so random when I first heard that Hank and Peggy had been living in Saudi Arabia for I think it was the last several years since the ending of King of the Hill, which would have been 10 years of them living in Saudi Arabia, until it was explained of why, and it was oh, this is an actual thing that that you can do in Saudi Arabia, where it's a propane company specifically, where they kind of set you up in a small kind of secluded neighborhood that very much looks like an American suburb, and it's very disconnected from the rest of the country, but they pay you very well, and the idea is you go there at an old age so that way you can come back to America with retirement money. So I thought that was an interesting concept and a great way to have Hank Hill leaving Texas for so many years and then coming back into a world that's completely different from the one that he left. And then I love his relationship with Bobby in the show, and how much they've grown as characters. I love how, despite the fact that Bobby is now a chef and Bobby is now now an adult, everything that you would think on paper is something that Hank would be proud of, they still have ways for the two of them to butt heads, but they always have such a great relationship by the end of the episode. Absolutely incredible. I think that this was, if you ever need notes on how to revive a show, this is how you do it.
Nice. That's encouraging to hear. I hadn't checked it out for myself yet, but that's cool to know. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh yeah. And then what are your thoughts on it when sorry, I already read that part. When do you think James Gunn announces who's playing Batman in the DCU, and JS their word on the 6th season sorry, I think you meant to say JC. Just curious, their word on the 6th season of Harley Quinn. I don't know if they've said anything about a season 6 of Harley Quinn. I've actually kind of haven't been keeping up with Harley Quinn news in a while now. As for who's playing Batman, if I'm a betting man, I feel like it's going to be around the time Clayface comes out. I feel like we're going to get an announcement that he's going to play a small role in Clayface. It'll still be a Clayface movie, but I'm kind of confident that's when we're going to get our announcement. What do you think?
Yeah, I have I don't know if they would I do wonder if they would do it as early as casting for Clayface, if it's something that they would announce prior to the movie going into development, if they announce who Batman is going to be. So I am kind of curious as to whether or not we get that announcement by the year's end. There's two things. Either we get the announcement by the year's end because he is going to be cast in Clayface, and as production begins, or at least as production begins, if they want to get a little bit ahead of the story, like him being the last sort of casting announcement that's revealed. So either they announce it before they begin production or as they're doing production, because I have a feeling like if you do that with Batman, you could probably do it on a set and not on a location. So you could probably keep it a relative secret if you wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you could either announce it before production begins, or you wait until maybe later on next year when you actually have something to announce for Brave and the Bold, which would come out still ahead of Clayface, but you would at least confirm who it is. So I think those are the two things. Either you let people know you're casting for Batman because he's going to be in Clayface before production starts for Clayface, or you keep it a secret and then you reveal it as when you have the script and everything ready to go for Brave New World before pre-production starts. So I think any of those are probably my two opportune times to reveal them.
Yeah. I would be amazed if they have Batman as in a speaking role in the movie, but they don't announce it until after the movie's already released. That would be kind of incredible.
Yeah, I just wonder how long they can hold on to that secret. That would be my only concern, is just because of just the time period and social media where everything gets there's one guy that's even being rumored to be playing Batman just because he had some workout pictures of him looking shredded, and he was getting ready for the role of a lifetime sort of thing, and people are like, oh my god, he's cast as Batman, yada yada yada.
Was it Alan Richardson?
No, I think it was Scott something. Scott, maybe I'm tripping on his name. I could be wrong, but so some people are saying that they've already secretly cast for Batman, which does make me curious as to if they would announce it prior to pre-production for Clayface to begin, or you don't announce it at all until Brave and the Bold, Brave and the Bold, and then you announce it when you have the actual Batman film ready to go in regards to pre-production, but you still have him pop up in Clayface because you've secretly filmed it. So I don't know. I think it's Scott Adkins. Scott, am I can't remember who the gentleman was that was just recently posted a video or posted a picture of him and his trainer getting shredded, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. A lot of exciting things to come, though, when it comes to the DCU. We still got Lanterns to look forward to. We still haven't seen Kyle or, what's his name? Who plays Jon Stewart?
Oh,
Aaron
Pierre.
Yeah. Still haven't seen them in their Green Lantern costumes yet. We've seen a little bit of a tease of a Supergirl costume. I'm wondering what they're waiting on right now. Before we get new announcements. I feels like Sergeant Rock is still in the works. I'm hoping that's something that'll go into production sometime next year. They seem like they are putting Teen Titans a little bit on the back burner. I think they have a script, but I don't know if they have a finished script. But I think they're probably changing their creative course towards making sure this Wonder Woman thing is intact first, because it does feel like a Supergirl, Clayface, and maybe Wonder Woman maybe next after Clayface, the way that they're kind of talking about things. So who knows? It feels like, yeah, Wonder Woman and maybe Sergeant Rock might be the next two films that they do after Supergirl, and then maybe we get our Batman movie after that for like a 2028, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That's just my predictions.
I wouldn't be surprised if, even though they have a ready script, if they kept it on the back burner for Titans and a few others, because they, after Superman, it sounds, if I'm a guessing man, you know, just putting together context clues from like statements from David Zaslav himself and then James Gunn, it sounds like David Zaslav is really pushing James Gunn to push the Trinity forward. And so that might be the priority at the moment.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I think you're right there. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. That's going to do it for all of our live viewer questions today. So thank you guys so much for all your participation. Always joining us. We love hearing your thoughts on things in regards to all the topics that we certainly talked about, and all your fantastic questions each and every week. So thank you guys so much. Stuart, if people want to find you, man, on social media, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01 over on Instagram and on TikTok and on Letterboxd.
If you want to find us on TikTok, you can find us right down below at Hero Report. We've got over 3,000 subscribers over there, or followers on TikTok. Check us out over there. We just passed 1,700 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for your continued support and growth for our channel here. If you want to follow us on social media, everywhere at A+ Opinions. Very active, specifically on our Facebook page. That's where we drop all the news, all the articles, all the trailers, all the posters throughout the week over there to keep you guys up to date on a daily basis. And then we take our 6 topics from there and we talk about them here on our YouTube channel. So follow us everywhere at A+ Opinions on social media, and subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. We may be doing Alien Earth reviews for the channel here for the new Alien television series, so keep a lookout for that. I still may end up doing it might be late, but I still may end up doing an Eyes of Wakanda series or 4-episode review for you guys also later this week, so look out for that, and maybe some movie reviews if I get the opportunity to check out Weapons or Together or even Naked Gun later on this week, guys. But we'll continue to have more YouTube shorts on our YouTube page for you guys too, dropping throughout the week, so a lot of content certainly headed our way. But Stuart, I think that's gonna do it for us here today, guys. So thank you guys so much. We'll certainly see you guys next weekend, but in the meantime, do us a big favor as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.